This is Tar Heel football from Learfield.
What is it that binds us to this place as to no other?
The following is a presentation of the Tar Heel Sports Network.
Carolina began playing college football in 1888. Today's opponent, Minnesota, teed it up for the first time a few years earlier in 1882. And yet, these two flagship state universities have never faced one another until today. Both the Tar Heels and the Golden Gophers enter this afternoon 2-0. Carolina topping South Carolina and Appalachian State, while Minnesota has defeated Nebraska and Eastern Michigan. Both the Tar Heels and Golden Gophers have a chance to make a statement against another quality Power 5 opponent, move to 3-0 on the year, and capture the first meeting between these two historic schools. The Tar Heel Sports Network's coverage of that first meeting between Minnesota and Carolina starts right now. May will throw. Steps up in the pocket. Rockets it over the middle. Caught at the 25, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Carolina. Paysor, take a bow, young man. Made a throw. Now he's going to tuck it and run. Steps through a tackle. Has the first down and more. They will run Elijah Green. Big hole. One-touch touchdown. May fakes it. Runs to the left. May. Touchdown, Carolina. The Heels march down for 6. Now it's going to play action and throw. Pressure coming. Duke Caldwell slings him down. There you go, young fella. Yes, sir. Elijah Green left side. Elijah Green cuts up and cuts in for 6. End zone, one-handed. Holy smokes, what a catch. May steps out of the pocket going left side. May 10-5. Touchdown, Carolina. Tar Heels within a point. May quickly over the middle. Caught there. Stepping through a tackle and stepping to the end zone. Bryson Nesbitt for 6 more. It is pouring points in Chapel Hill.
This is Carolina football on the Tar Heel Sports Network.
This is Jones Angel. Carolina has defeated an athletic SEC team with an elite quarterback and a scrappy in-state opponent with nothing to lose. So the next challenge in this diverse schedule comes today against a big physical group from Minnesota. Brian Simmons, a 2-time All-America at Carolina, has his jersey honored at UNC, played a decade in the NFL.
And they say competition breeds success, so Carolina football should be poised for a successful ACC season. The Heels will take on another competitive non-conference opponent today in Minnesota Gophers before starting ACC play next week.
Lee Pace authors Extra Points and will be reporting from the steamy sidelines this afternoon.
The last 3 times the Tar Heels have faced a powerful red meat-eating team from the Midwest, and we're talking Notre Dame here, they have been pulverized on the line of scrimmage. The Irish having a 2-1 rushing margin over Carolina in 3 wins from 2020 to 2022. That narrative has to change today for the Tar Heels to have a shot against another poster boy team from the heartland, the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
We have all those storylines, plus you'll hear from both head coaches, Mac Brown and PJ Fleck. We'll continue our weekly pregame conversations with former Tar Heel great Jeff Saturday. You'll hear from former Diamond Heel, current Los Angeles Dodger Michael Bush, and we'll check on scores from around the ACC and Top 25. All of that and a lot more coming up. It is a beautiful day in Kenan Stadium, Minnesota at Carolina, and the Reese Jewelers pregame show from Learfield.
Carolina football is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Take a taste. And by Hunt Brothers Pizza, the official pizza of Carolina Athletics. This is the Reed's Jewelers pregame show.
A week ago, it was a little cloudy and rainy and nasty in the Triangle. No such hurdles today. Bright sunshine, clear skies, beautiful afternoon upcoming for Carolina football in Chapel Hill. Thanks so much for joining us. Jones, Brian, Lee. You'll hear from Dave Nathan coming up in a little bit. Matt Krause, our statistician and spotter. Ben Alexander, our chief network engineer. John Essick back in our Tar Heel Sports Network studio. Whole gang is here for the Heels and the Golden Gophers. It's the Reed's Jewelers pregame show, brought to you by Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. And our coverage of today's game is presented by Serve Pro of South Durham and Orange County, where they have collected school supplies for students across the Triangle. Thank you to Serve Pro for teaming up with Carolina football for a worthy cause. Serve Pro, proud partner of Carolina Athletics. All right, let's get to it, Brian. Carolina's faced a challenging start to this season, but so far the Tar Heels have answered the bell. They had that impressive performance in Charlotte against South Carolina, followed by a dramatic double overtime win last weekend versus Appalachian State. So 2-0, that's where you want to be, but another stiff test today. Big Ten representative Minnesota coming to town.
Absolutely, and I love this type of non-ACC schedule. You get a true feel for what your team is after facing a tough SEC team in South Carolina, where it was a hard-fought game and Carolina kind of pulled away at the end. And then App State, we all know what kind of program and what kind of football team they have. They came in here gritty, playing hard, forced Carolina to overtime, and Carolina had to make plays at the end to win that football game. But today is game 3, obviously, and a quarter of a way of the season will be gone after today, and I think you should start selling in into what type of team you have with the Carolina Tar Heels. And you should feel good about that assessment because of the type of opponents you face.
Brian, Carolina has done very well. Several of the things that Mac Brown mandated during the offseason that they do well. They're running the ball better, they're protecting the quarterback better, and they're getting pressure on the opposing quarterback better. Two things they are not doing, however, and I'd like to see that change today, is get some turnovers. They've only gotten 1 in 2 games. The interception by Don Chapman last week. Mac Brown lamented that 3 loose balls were on the ground last week, and the Tar Heels were not able to pick one up. And they've not made any big plays in the kicking game. No block kicks, no big returns, and of course they missed the big field goal toward the later part of the game. So kicking game, turnovers, I think a couple things where Carolina can improve. I hope they start to do that today.
Lee, you mentioned the run game, and that was highlighted last week. Tar Heels really impressive. They plowed through App, 319 yards on the ground. Of course, that was highlighted by Omarion Hampton, a career-high 234 yards and 3 scores.
Jones, I remember in December 2021 at Mac Brown's recruiting signing day press conference, he talked about having just landed Omarion Hampton from Cleveland High School in Clayton. Talked about what a big body he had, how he ran over people, how he moved piles, how he could be a game changer with the 4-minute offense. But the thing that stood out the most that he said that day was he reminds me of Javonte Williams. And boy, you go back to that first drive last week coming off from the 25. App State guy stones him in the middle of the line of scrimmage, and he just bounces off of him, and Omarion picks up six yards. And Chip Lindsey, the offensive coordinator, said that set the tone for the day. And boy, what a game he had. And somebody up here, I think, made the remark of, well, I think British Brooks' thigh injury just got a little bit better watching this happen. So interesting problem there. We knew how good that running back room is, and now we're going to see how it goes with British Brooks and Omarion Hampton. And Caleb Hood stepped in last week and had a nice touchdown run.
And I'll say this about Omarion Hampton. The game he had and the performance he had was very similar to Javonte in terms of the ability to make yards after contact. He did an excellent job of that last week. You saw in a lot of plays there were contact, there were defenders there, and he just ran through contact and continued to get plus 2 and 3 yards after contact every carry.
The vision of Omarion Hampton, something that the coaches feel like has dramatically improved from year 1 to year 2. I heard it described as he stopped giving kidney shots to the offensive linemen running into their backs, and so that has helped. And as Lee referenced, British Brooks returning today. We fully expect to see the senior from Gastonia, or the graduate student from Gastonia, out there today as well. Chip Lindsey really likes that pair in the backfield and what they can do for the Tar Heels. Brian, let's flip it to the other side. Carolina not as effective against App defensively as they were against South Carolina. I still think the Tar Heels did some good things on the defensive side, but a big storyline from that game, something you and I talked a lot about during the course of the action, just too many third downs converted. That aided in keeping App on the field and keeping the game tight until, of course, the very last play.
Yeah, and in order to be successful on third down, you want to be successful on first and second down, obviously. And Carolina did that last week. The problem was they got on average App State to 3rd and 8, right? 3rd and 7.5 yards. but still was unsuccessful getting off the football field. That has to change today because Minnesota wants to possess the football. They want to slow the game down. They want to continue possession by running the football. The second thing to me that stood out, if I'm comparing the App State game to the South Carolina game, I felt like the tackling in the South Carolina game was really crisp, especially for the first game of the year. It was really good. I didn't feel like last week they tackled the same way. And then, obviously, the rushing yards, and it goes together, the tackling and getting off third down. Carolina gave up way too many yards last week, 219 yards on the ground, and we know that can't be the case today against Minnesota because they're going to come in here with a big offensive line, and that's what they want to do. They just want to continue to lean on you all game and try to wear you down in the fourth.
Brian, you made a good point on the air last week about how soft the Carolina cornerbacks seem to be playing on third and medium, and Mac Brown agreed with you afterward. He said, we cannot play scared that they're going to throw the ball over our heads. So I look forward to looking at even though Minnesota is not a primary passing team, they can light it up, and look forward to seeing if Carolina has adjusted and plays a little bit tighter there on the corners.
Last thing here before we take a break, Lee, the transfer portal, of course, has changed college athletics. It plays a huge role in modern-day football, and nearly every team is looking for impact transfers in the offseason, and Carolina appears to have found some so far in defensive back Elijah Huzzie, offensive lineman Willie Lampkin. Both those guys have had really quality starts to the season.
The coaching staff has done a nice job the last 3 years adding guys in the portal. Jones, Ty Chandler 2 years ago. Last year they added Noah Taylor and Corey Gaynor. Gaynor, of course, is still out there captaining that offensive line. You got Lampkin, Huzzie, also Amari Gaynor, a nice edge rusher from Florida State. Nate McCollum, a slot guy from Georgia Tech who we expect to start this afternoon, and Stick Lane, a defensive back from Georgia State. So one thing I've noticed, Jones, with the transfers, it's an interesting contrast with the highly recruited true freshmen that come in, is these kids, they're mature, they've done the drill, they know the routine, they want an opportunity to succeed, and they don't take anything for granted. They've got anything but the big head coming in, and they just want a place to play, and they come in and look at the facilities and look at the stadium and the campus, say, wow, this is pretty good, and they have a true attitude of gratitude for being here, and it's playing out in the way they approach, the way they play football.
Yeah, and that's a good point because if you think about it, most transfers are either transferring up, right? So obviously they're going to be appreciative of the situation, or in the case of the defensive end gaining from Florida State, they didn't get a real opportunity at Florida State, so now they get to come over a lateral move and get a chance to play, so they're appreciative of that also.
Yeah, and Lee mentioned a couple names there. Nate McCollum, he's somebody Carolina really expects to be a big part of the offense. He didn't play against South Carolina, just 9 snaps last week. He is expected to play today and play a lot for Carolina. And then also Antavius Lane, Stick Lane, his nickname and what everybody calls him, the Georgia State transfer. He's got 11 career interceptions. He's somebody that Carolina feels like can help them in the secondary. He's been hurt. They expect him to start working into action today. Maybe not the full amount of snaps, but start working him in to see how he can help on that back end for the Heels. All right, let's take a timeout. We're going to take a closer look. First-time opponent, the 124th different team that Carolina football's ever played. It's Minnesota. We'll take a look at the Gophers when we return to the Reese Jewelers pregame show from Learfield. Portions of both teams out on the field going through some early warm-ups. Tar Heels to your left wearing what I would call their traditional home look of the Carolina blue helmets and tops and the white breeches. Meanwhile, Minnesota in the shiny gold helmets today, white jerseys and maroon pants. We'll go through the full uniform report presented by Dunkin' Donuts coming up in just a little bit. One personnel note, and Lee will give us the full rundown when he goes down to the field in a little bit, but Ryan Coe, who has started at both the kickoff and the place kicking spot for Carolina in the first 2 weeks, is not going through warm-ups with the rest of the team. He is out there. He has been in street clothes. We have heard lower body injury and expect that to be a multiple-week injury for Ryan Coe. So Noah Burnett, who, of course, was the kicker last year for Carolina. Burnett, in his career, 15 of 21 on field goals, 57 of 58 on PATs. He is expected to take over the place-kicking duties today. On kickoffs, we'll keep an eye for a new player, Liam Boyd, a redshirt freshman, a Clemson transfer. He actually is a soccer player turned into a kicker. We think that Liam may be the man on kickoffs today for Carolina, but we'll confirm all that when we see it out on the field. All right, let's talk about the opponent. It's Minnesota. And, Brian, if you just closed your eyes and imagined a Big Ten football team, I think it'd probably look a lot like Minnesota. They're big, they're physical, they play really good defense, and they're hoping to pick up a key out-of-conference win today.
No question. And if you just look at the offensive line, I think that tells the story. Average 6'6", 315 pounds, big. I wouldn't say overly physical, but they will lean on you. They're aggressive. I think it'll be a good challenge for Carolina defensively up front. Those guys really have to get off the football, use their hands to get off blocks. If you allow those guys just to lean on you and you sit there and try to wrestle with them for 4 quarters, it's going to be a long day. But on the flip side, I think we should have an advantage athleticism, right? Speed and quickness in space. I look for Carolina offensively to try to get guys in space, and it'll be interesting to see. I think when you're watching the tape of their defense, they're sound, they play downhill, but I would say they lack a little speed, and let's see if Carolina can take advantage of that.
Brian, I think one of the interesting matchup is going to be left tackle Erante Ursary for the Golden Gophers. He is not allowed a sack, a hurry, or a pressure in 2 games this year, and all 5 of those guys have played every snap in the 2 games. We're going to see Ursary trying to go against, for the most part, Kamen Rucker over on that left side. Rucker coming off the right edge, and that'll be an interesting matchup this afternoon.
Rucker, according to Pro Football Focus, who does a bunch of advanced stats across college football, has a nation's best 17 pressures, talking about Kamen Rucker, in 2 games thus far. So we know he's been active and successful, and some of those numbers backing that up. Lee, it's been a strange offensive year for Minnesota so far. They threw the ball 44 times in the opening game against Nebraska. Seemed like the Gophers returned to form last week against Eastern Michigan. They ran the ball 56 times. That was the most in a game since 1970. They possessed the ball nearly 40 minutes and won the football game 25-6.
Well, P.J. Fleck is in his 7th year with the Golden Gophers. Jones right now, he's down on the field at the 45-yard line. He and Mac Brown engaged in a conversation, 2 old friends there. But he says their mentality is, we run the football. In the Big Ten, you have to run the ball. That's our M.O. Everyone knows that, and we're not going to try and fool anybody about that. And you're right. They have really, last week they got back to dominating at the line of scrimmage, and they controlled almost the clock the entire second half. And as I said at the top of the show, Jones, just thinking back to this kind of game that Carolina has played against Notre Dame the last 3 years, the Irish outrushed Carolina 779 yards to 376 yards. 2 of those games, Carolina was under 100 yards rushing. And in 2021, they were helped by the fact that Sam Howell was just running like crazy, running away from the rushers, and he got over 100 yards. So got to flip the switch at some point against a Midwestern power team. Mac has talked about that every single game going into Notre Dame the last 3 years. Now it's very similar, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if Carolina can flip the switch and to change the narrative on that physicality along the offensive line.
Top running backs for Minnesota, it's a Western Michigan transfer, Sean Tyler. He was 2nd team All-Mid-America Conference a year ago. And then also Darius Taylor, a true freshman who only had 1 carry against Nebraska. Then he had 33 last week for 193 yards. It was the 2nd most for a Minnesota freshman in history. Only Darryl Thompson, who is here, by the way, he's the radio analyst for Minnesota. He had 205 yards in a game as a freshman back in 1986. Last thing, Brian, before we go to break, we mentioned Minnesota's defense. Their numbers are really impressive, and at least to me, you're the guy who obviously knows more football, but that secondary is particularly impressive. They seem physical. They can really cover. They've held 8 teams, including Eastern Michigan last week, to fewer than 100 yards passing since the 2021 season.
No question. If you just look at this season, they're averaging 8 points a game given up and less than 230 yards total offense. So, they're really sound. They have 3 guys, and 1 at each level that can make plays. First in Kyler Barr up front, and then Maverick, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, as a linebacker, and then Tyler Nubin, who's probably their best defender, a big rangy safety who can make plays. He's physical and he has ball skills. So it'll be a good challenge for Carolina because we know they'll play sound. They have big guys up front that you got to play physical to get movement in the run game. And then if we can do those things, I really truly feel like on the perimeter we should have an advantage. And obviously we know we have the best quarterback on the field today.
That's Maverick Baranowski, by the way, the redshirt freshman at linebacker. And Minnesota's going to be boosted a little bit today. Cody Lindenberg, who has not played in the first 2 games for Minnesota, a linebacker, redshirt sophomore. He is back. He was second on the team last year with 71 tackles. They felt like he was going to be the real centerpiece of their defense. Had been hurt. He is back, expected to play today, so that should boost that Minnesota defense, which has already been very good through 2 weeks. All right, we're going to take a timeout. You'll hear from Jeff Saturday. Dave Nathan's going to take control, get you through the rest of the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. It's Carolina and Minnesota today in Chapel Hill from Learfield.
The Reed's Jewelers pregame show continues. We'll check in with Jeff Saturday in a moment, as well as a traffic report with Craig Green. But before that, let's get to this. Time for stations to identify themselves. 10 seconds down the lines on the Tar Heel Sports Network. Dave Nathan back here in Kenan Stadium. Craig Green with an eye on traffic around campus. Craig, what's happening out on the streets?
Hey, coming in from Raleigh, 40 West is moving well. There's no accidents or slowdowns on your way into Chapel Hill. If you're traveling north from Pittsboro, 15501 north to Columbia Street is really looking good. If you're coming south from Hillsboro, NC 86, clear and free. But once you get into Chapel Hill, the slowdown begins around the stadium, Fordham Boulevard, about 20 miles per hour. Heavy traffic on East Franklin Street, also about 10 miles per hour on that side of the stadium. If you're coming in on Ridge Road and Raleigh Road near the stadium, each have about a 5-minute delay with a slowdown under 10 miles an hour. I'm Craig Green with the pregame traffic. Dave, back to you.
Thank you very much. As today's pregame show is brought to you by Reed's Jewelers. The official Reed's Jewelers kickoff time is 3:35. Reed's Jewelers, your home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. We also trust Jeff Saturday to give us the inside scoop on Carolina football. Here's his conversation with Jones.
Tar Heels will be facing Minnesota for the first time in history coming up in just a few minutes. We're getting you ready for the Tar Heels and the Golden Gophers here on the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. Excited as always to be joined via the telephone by Tar Heel great Jeff Saturday. Always helps us break down a couple pieces of the game leading up to it. And Jeff wanted to actually talk a little bit about defense today. The Tar Heels had such a great start defensively against South Carolina. Not as effective in week 2, although not bad in week 2. One thing Coach Brown has talked some about is he felt like the Tar Heels still got some good pressure. They had 9 quarterback hurries in the game without a sack against App State, but he didn't feel like his coverage was tight enough on the back end. How do you marry those two things together, whether it's pre-snap or once things get going, how you can most effectively use pressure with your coverage on the back end?
Yeah, it's just trust. You know what I mean, Jones? When you think about from the two position groups, the DBs have to trust that and the linebackers obviously, but have to trust that the front four are going to put pressure. And when the ball is coming out, they have to be in position to make a break on the ball, break on a tackle. But it's hard, right? Because as someone who's on the back line, you're afraid if you give up a play, it's going to go for 6. So it's kind of week by week. You're hoping you gain more trust between each group of, hey, fellows, we're going to get there, man. We're going to get there. We may not get sacks. We're going to get pressure. You got to be where you're supposed to be. And honestly, it will help those DBs. I mean, when you think about the days of Dre Bly and Quickie Williams and, Omar Brown, kind of the whole deal, those guys made a living off of jumping routes because they knew the ball was going to come out quick. When you had the likes of Greg Ellis and Bonnie Holiday, and so they go hand in hand. But I think what ends up happening is you get kind of scared away from something, or you're playing a technique and you I'm going to trust my technique. I'm going to rally and tackle, as opposed to what Coach Brown's talking about, which is be aggressive. Trust that the front group is going to do their job, and when it's time for you to make a play, you'll be there. And trust that everybody's going to do their job when it matters. And it's not easy. I mean, everybody likes to make it seem like it should just happen, but it doesn't. If you're the last line of defense and your names will get flashed all over everything, it takes a different set of guts, right, to go make that break. But they're going to grow in trust of each other and in adapting to what they know they can get done. And I think you'll see more aggressive play by not only the front seven, but by that back four. And it's really where you want to be in week 2. You're 2-0, and you have things that you can improve on. So let's keep moving in the right direction, knowing it's not going to be perfect, but we'll get better each week.
Of course, Jeff knows a ton about offensive line play, and I wanted to ask you about that maybe from a little bit of a different angle here, Jeff. Minnesota's offensive line, as big as Carolina is going to see all season. You look up and down that starting five, and it's 6'6", 315, 6'7", 325. So some really big guys up front. To flip that around, what can a Tar Heel defensive front that's had a pretty good start to the year, how can that group still be effective even against somebody the size of Minnesota's offensive front?
Yeah, it's speed and quickness, right? As you're going to use your technique and understand you got to get to the spot. Once those big bodies get to pushing on you, they're going to get some movement. So you got to beat them to the point of attack. And I think when you see defensive linemen who are successful against larger offenses, they have great technique. They're going to stay low, understanding the low man still wins, but they're going to get their pads turned. You'll see guys they call it splitting blocks, where they turn their pads kind of horizontal, right? They get kind of a turn in there, and you'll see them. And the other part of the technique they'll use is they half the man. So when you see a big offensive lineman, instead of trying to take on the entire man, you split him in half. Okay, I'm going to work the left side of him or the right side of him. I'm going to give an in and out move. Whatever you have, whatever you're coming to thought is, you're going to process it. I'm going to work on this side of him. And once you kind of get to the flow of the game, they'll realize, hey, I can get this guy's hands off me. I can get up underneath his hands. But it'll take a quarter to kind of figure out what that size and that kind of disadvantage is, or advantage, however you look at it. But listen, don't make a mountain out of a molehill, right? Like, you're going to play against big guys here, or if you go to the next level. So get used to it, adapt to it, but understand going in, techniques and fundamentals are going to win this today.
Intriguing matchup today in Kenan Stadium. 2-2-0 teams. Minnesota visiting the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. Jeff, as always, man, thank you so much for your insight and your time, and look forward to talking with you next week.
Appreciate you, Jones. Go Heels.
Carolina football is brought to you by Wells Fargo, official retail bank sponsor of Carolina Athletics. This is the Reed's Jewelers pregame show.
Today's game is presented by ServPro of South Durham and Orange County, where they have collected school supplies for students across the Triangle. Thank you to ServPro for teaming up with Carolina football for this worthy cause. ServPro is a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. The Tar Heels taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers this afternoon here in Kenan Stadium. And former Diamond Heel Michael Bush spent his younger years up in Minnesota before coming to Chapel Hill. He made his major league debut earlier this year, and more recently he told me why Carolina was the right place for him.
I asked myself that a lot, about how I ended up becoming a Tar Heel, because, it was always, you stay in the Midwest or Minnesota, or you just try to get to one of those schools and then you're good. But you know what? I grew up watching Carolina and just the College World Series. That was about the time I started watching the College World Series, and they were always in it. And I just loved the white cleats, the blue jerseys. So I became, somewhat of a Tar Heel fan, but nothing crazy. And I knew how good their baseball program was. And, when they reached out, it was no way. I had never thought in a million years that, a team like this would ever reach out, and did a little more exploring. And, it just kind of was a no-brainer for me in a way. Although I didn't really want to leave home, it was man, I needed to figure out what this is about. I need to find out I don't think I could go many more years with thinking like, oh, what if I went to Carolina and just do it? So just everything about it. The baseball program, I went down and met, the coaching staff. Scott Jackson was down there. He came up to see me a couple of times in Minnesota, and we just connected right away. Great guy, made it super easy. I already felt comfortable. Just felt like him and I were pretty close before I ever met Coach Fox and Forbes and the rest of the staff. So Scott Jackson definitely had a big part to do with it, but it was, the Tar Heels were a good baseball program, good academics. Like it was just seemed like a no-brainer. And, I thought just let's go do it. Why not? I think what made it incredible was not only, the great campus and just everything about Carolina, but just the people involved with the baseball team. You spend so much time with them. You're around them every day, every weekend. You just do so many things with them that it's hard, to enjoy it if, you don't have a good culture. You're not able to build something pretty special there. And all 3 of my years there, we were able to build something special. Not only because we had good players, but we just had a ton of fun. And, on and off the field, we were doing stuff together. Like it was super special. And you could see it not only in the baseball program, but the football program, the soccer program, I think the vibes of Carolina were just immaculate all around.
Former Diamond Hill Michael Bush here on the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. As we remind you, every sack is a sack to give back. For every sack the Tar Heels make this season, Food Line Feeds will donate 1,000 meals to feed our neighbors in need right here in Chapel Hill. Lee Pace is down on the field for this afternoon's field report. Lee, a little hotter than it was 7 days ago.
82 degrees right now, Dave, so it's very pleasant down here. Actually, a little waft of copper tone among some of the folks down here on the field. Bright, sunny afternoon. Tar Heel coaching staff, particularly the strength and conditioning guys, were hoping for a typical low 90s mid-September afternoon to sweat out the team from the northern realm of the Midwest. But still, the Gophers are going to be over on the far sideline in the sun, and so conditioning could be an issue as the game goes on. Carolina football team just went in the locker room. Their last act of business was Noah Burnett kicking an extra point through the goal line here on the west side. As Jones mentioned a few minutes back, Ryan Coe was hurt in the App State game. He was hurt covering a kickoff early in the game. It may or may not have affected his ability to make that field goal late in the game, but Ryan is not dressed out. He was in shorts. He was working and helping Noah monitor his kicking earlier in the game. Several other things, Dave. John Copenhaver does not have that big mitt on his right hand as he has the last 2 weeks. British Brooks is dressed out, appears to be in full speed. And Ed Montelas, who hurt his ankle in the South Carolina game and missed last week, is dressed out. He was running with the first team at left tackle, so it may well be that Montelas gets the starting nod today. We understand Willie Lampkin, the transfer from Coastal Carolina, who has made a good input so far, is a little bit dinged up a little bit in practice, so we will see how that goes as the week goes on, Dave.
Lee Pace down on the field, our Pinehurst sideline reporter. We'll check in with him throughout today's game as Carolina and Minnesota meet for the first ever time on the gridiron. Jones will begin his two-part conversation with the head coach of the Tar Heels, Mack Brown, in the Continental Tire Coaches Corner upon our return. This is the Reed's Jewelers pregame show from Learfield. As we come back to the Reed's Jewelers pregame show, it is time to send things over to Jones and Coach Brown for our first installment of the Continental Tire Coaches Corner, brought to you by Continental Tire. The smart choice in tires. For a dealer near you, go to ContinentalTire.com.
Inside the Continental Tire Coaches Corner, alongside the head coach of the Tar Heels, Mack Brown, as Carolina prepares to face Minnesota in Chapel Hill. And, Coach, another non-conference challenge today, visiting Chapel Hill. What's the focus been this week, coming out of App and then seeing an unfamiliar opponent in Minnesota?
Well, the App State game was a great win. Proud of the guys to hang in there, and especially after we missed the field goal, to be able to keep your composure as coaches and players and come back and finish the game, because Drake had one of the best drives I've ever seen in my life to finish the game, and that should have been a walk-off field goal with 3 seconds left, and just proud of everybody there for hanging in there and beating a good team. And Minnesota is they run basically the same offense as App State. They're just bigger and older. But it'll be a great challenge. We've got to make sure that we can get after the run. We've got to make sure that we're in the right gaps. And we some of the things that we questioned that needed to be fixed in the spring, we're getting to see really quickly, Jones, whether we can fix them or not. And offensively, we got to get off the field defensively on third downs and fourth downs. We've got to stay on the field on third down on offense and fourth down, and that's what got us in trouble last week. We missed a 4th and inches. We missed a 3rd and 1. We dropped a touchdown pass all in the first quarter, so we could have gotten ahead in the game last week. But with the new clock rules, you can't miss opportunities. You've got to take advantage of them when you get them.
You've made that improved run game, that was a real focus in the offseason and the preseason, and so far the efforts have shown up on the field. What do you think your team has done well, taking that attention and what you practice, taking it to the field on Saturdays?
Well, the biggest thing is we're physical. We've been a tough football team. We're one of the top 5 in the country with pressures on the quarterback. We didn't stop the run as well last week as we did in the opening game, but South Carolina didn't try to run it very much. I knew it would be harder, and that's a key for today. So we're better stopping the run, and we're better running the ball, and that way it helps you get more sacks and pressures, and it helps you protect your quarterback better. We need to get force more turnovers on defense. We need to continue to protect the ball like we did last week on offense, and we didn't get off the field on third down last week. We didn't do as well in the red zone in defense as we did against South Carolina. And we only scored 4 touchdowns and got 2 field goals out of our 8 opportunities in the red zone last week. So that's another area of emphasis today. Third down, fourth down's key, but also scoring touchdowns in the red zone and making sure they kick field goals.
There's been a lot of focus, of course, on Tez Walker, but Carolina has also been without another transfer wide receiver. Georgia Tech transfer Nate McCollum's been banged up the first couple of weeks. He's only played a handful of snaps. It seems like he's to the point now health-wise that he should be able to help you more fully. Could you tell us a little bit about Nate and your hope for the role that he can fill with this team?
Yes, he will line up in the slot today, and Kobe Pesauer will move outside. Kobe will probably play both, but and then J.J. Jones will start as well. Nate's really fast. He's got a lot of the quickness and speed that we lost last year when we lost Josh Downs. He's older. He's confident. We've missed him, and we could see that quality in the spring. So hopefully he can have a fun day today and help us win.
He was the 5th leading receiver in the ACC a season ago. Nate and the rest of the Tar Heels will see Minnesota today. We'll talk a little bit about the Golden Gophers a little later in our pregame show. It's the first all-time meeting between Carolina and Minnesota. It comes this afternoon in Chapel Hill. I'm inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner with the head coach of the Tar Heels, Mac Brown. Coach, Minnesota 2-0 coming to Chapel Hill today. Man, some excellent defensive numbers. What has made this defensive group from Minnesota so effective, in your opinion?
Well, they're very sound. They're very simple, but they play hard, and they play with confidence. And they've done a tremendous job. They given up 8 points a game. Yep. Which is amazing. They did something last week I've never seen before. They took Eastern Michigan and they kept the ball away from them except for 7 minutes in the second half. They're holding people under 50 plays per game, so that's a key for today. And they also kept them from getting a first down. Yeah. In modern day offensive football, that is unheard of and impossible. So, and last year they were 5th in the country in third down defense. So, a great challenge for us today. It gives us an opportunity to get things better before we start league play next week against Pittsburgh. But we said early, Jones, this is one of the toughest out-of-conference schedules in the country, and I think it is the toughest. So this will be another great challenge for us today.
They're big up front. You look at their offensive line, it's 6'6", 6'7", 315, 325. What challenges does that present for your defensive line today?
They're huge, and they're going to run right at you just like App State. And they're going to keep running at you, and then try to throw it deep and get an explosive off play action. But what we've told our guys, we're big up front too, and we're too deep. So this is a great chance. A lot of people have talked about our defensive line, and it should be better, and it should do this. Well, they did a great job at South Carolina. We did okay last week. We had 5 pressures on the quarterback, but we didn't do as well. We didn't stop the run as well. So today is a great day for our defensive line and our front seven to answer questions for everybody out there that questions it against the run, because it's going to be big players, great players, undefeated team that are coming in with a lot of confidence today to run it right down our throat.
Coach, with all that excitement, you have another sold-out crowd here in Kenan. It was a great atmosphere last weekend against Appalachian State, and certainly expected again today.
Yes, the you fans were a difference last week, and we've got to get our home game winning streak back after one now, because we had it and we were doing so well at home, and then we drifted at the end of last year. So students are unbelievable. Fans, you're here early. Be loud, man. Make a difference in this ball game and pick these guys up, because they're trying really, really hard. I like this team. They're giving us everything they got. I think it's the best coaching staff we've had. Now we just got to keep figuring out ways to win.
Carolina will try to do that today against Minnesota. Coach, as always, thank you for your time and best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
Still waiting on the smoke to clear after Carolina came out of the West Tunnel, which means we've got time for our keys to the game. Take your Tar Heels tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. As the captains get ready to meet at midfield, Jones, my key for this one, it just comes down to a few words. Line of scrimmage.
I'm going to go, Brian, get off the field on third down. Don't let Minnesota control the ball on the clock.
Yeah, Lee, for me, touched on it on the pregame, is special teams. Make a play that can determine the game and win on special teams.
Let's check in with Lee on the sideline.
Famous turnovers. Carolina just has one turnover so far this year. They got to pick the ball out of the air, get on the loose ball, and get this partisan crowd behind them early.
Thank you, guys. Our keys to the game brought to you by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas. Minnesota wins the toss and elects to defer, so Carolina will have the football first. Tar Heels were joined, the captains at midfield, by Nakari McIntosh of Southern Pines. He's the kids champion today. Brought to you by UNC Health. Team up for life well played. To learn more at unchealth.org/sports. The uniform report today brought to you by Dunkin'. It's always game on with Dunkin', which is why grabbing a coffee is the most important game day ritual. The best call for football is Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'. Tar Heels wearing the Carolina blue helmets with the white NC on the side, the Argyle stripe down the center. Carolina blue jerseys with the white numbers and letters. White breeches today with the Carolina blue Argyle down the side. Meanwhile, the visitors from the Big Ten, Minnesota, shiny gold helmets with the maroon M logo on the side. White jerseys with maroon numbers and letters. Solid maroon pants as well. Get to the starting lineups presented by Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. We'll take you through the Tar Heel offense. Drake May, of course, the record-setting quarterback. We'll see Hampton and Brooks there in the backfield. We expect it to be Kobe Paysour, J.J. Jones, and Nate McCollum at receiver. Morales, Nesbitt, and Copenhaver all at the tight end spot. We'll see who starts there. And we'll check on the O-line from left to right. There's been some movement on that line. We'll check it when Carolina comes out in just a moment. Heels will be returning this kick from right to left. The left-footed kicker, Kesich, boots it away. It will head through the end zone, and Carolina will have it on the touchback on its own 25-yard line. Let's take a look at this starting offensive line group for the Heels. Quickly, just to tell you, it's bright and sunny, 83 degrees, lower humidity than last week. A good thing, only in the mid-40s there. Diego Pounds at left tackle. Ed Montelis, after missing last week, is at left guard. Corey Gaynor, the center. William Barnes at right guard. And Spencer Rollin, Minnesota native, is starting at right tackle for the Heels. So Carolina with the football, moving from right to left, opening possession of the ball game. May, a quick little end around on the push forward to McCollum. So the Georgia Tech transfer only played 9 snaps last week, comes in. He was in motion. Tar Heels get him a little push for the jet sweep, and he gains 3. That will count as a pass because May pushed it forward. And it will be 2nd and 7. Tyler Newbin, the safety from Minnesota, with the hit. We'll get through these Minnesota starters on defense after Drake May takes the snap on 2nd and 7. Slow mesh, pulls it away, complete over the middle. McCollum first down, caught it at the 40 and wrestled down at the 45. A gain of 17, make it 18 to the 46-yard line. Tar Heels playing with some pace. May already has the snap. He'll keep it on the ground, and it's Hampton who jumps forward for a gain of 2. Maverick Baranowski with the stop for Minnesota. So Tar Heels trying to use some pace. It's 2nd and 8. Front 4 listed for Minnesota: Jalen Logan Redding, Kyler Ball, Devin Eastern, and Danny Strigo. We'll give you the linebackers in just a second. But May's ready on 2nd and 8. Again, the Tar Heels on the ground. Hampton, some good yards, crosses the 50 to the Minnesota 48. Devin Eastern able to drag him down from behind, but a gain of 4. And it will bring up 3rd down. Listed starters at linebacker: Cody Lindenberg, Devin Williams, Maverick Baranowski, Justin Wally, and Trayvon Jones at corner, Kyler Newman, Darius Green, the safeties. It is 3rd and 4, and Carolina again playing with pace. Minnesota has to take a timeout.
First of this half.
And so, Brian, Carolina very clearly pressing the gas there between plays, and Minnesota wants to gather up and talk about it. 13:23 to go into the first quarter. I tell you what, we're going to take a full break here in Kenan Stadium. So Carolina will be facing a 3rd and 4 when action resumes. Tar Heels have been very good on 3rd down thus far this year, converting at 62%. That's best in the league, 5th best in the country. They'll have their first opportunity when we return. Still scoreless. First drive of the ball game. Heels in Minnesota territory from Learfield. Scoreless here in Kenan Stadium. First drive of the ball game. Carolina looking at a 3rd and 4 at the Minnesota 48-yard line. That's the score on the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard here in Kenan Stadium. Brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what they do best. One final on that Farm Bureau scoreboard. It was a tight game up in Chestnut Hill. Florida State, number 3 in the country, has Clemson next week. They hang on against BC, 31-29. The final score there. Boston College, which struggled to beat Holy Cross last week, is able to hang with FSU. Made it tight late, but the Seminoles stay undefeated and win it by 2. So 3rd and 4. British Brooks into the ball game. He missed last week after the 103 yards against South Carolina in week 1. We've seen Hampton up to this point of this drive, but the graduate student Brooks from Gastonia is in now. Standing to the left of May. 3 receivers, Paysor, McCollum, and the tight end Nesbitt to the left. 1 receiver, J.J. Jones, to the right. Heels going right to left. The ball in between the hashes, shading towards the right. Now Brooks flips over to May's right, and May's dropping back to throw. Gets out of the pocket right side. May's going to tuck and run, try to get the first down. Takes a huge hit right at the sticks. Kyler Ball laid the wood on May. Let's see.
I think he's going to be half a yard short.
He will be half a yard. You're exactly right. So Ball, the 5th-year senior at nose tackle, a Houston Baptist transfer, came. What a hit from him, but Carolina's keeping the offense on the field. May quickly goes up under center, and he'll dive forward for the first down. I tell you what, not that we ever have questioned Drake May's toughness, but he takes that shot and then immediately goes up for the sneak, and Carolina keeps the drive going.
No doubt. And May, if you ever doubt about him, he is a tough customer. And to play quarterback at a high level, you got to be smart and tough, and May has both of those attributes.
So now it's at the Minnesota 44-yard line. Heels get the fresh set of downs. First drive of the ball game, no score. 12:38 and counting on the first quarter clock. Pressure coming from Minnesota. Heels pick it up nicely. May's throw is incomplete off the fingertips of McCollum. McCollum the throw's maybe a little wide towards the sideline. McCollum tried to bring it in while dragging the feet and just couldn't do it all at once. And it will be 2nd and 10. Minnesota brought some pressure off the edge there. The safety, Newman, was coming up to blitz. Tar Heels picked it up pretty nicely. May's throw just a little inaccurate, his first incompletion. Every throw's been to McCollum so far. 2 completions and now an incompletion. As the Heels, it's going to be a screen pass, caught but an immediate hit as Jack Henderson, the nickelback, takes down McCollum again on the bubble screen. That throw led McCollum, I think, a little bit more than May meant to. And the Tar Heels, Morales couldn't hold the block on the edge, and McCollum just had nowhere to go. It ends up losing, too.
Yeah, and that's the key. Morales has to get that block and sustain that block to allow that play to get going.
So now it's a 3rd and long. Tar Heels 0 for 1 so far on 3rd down. It's a 3rd and 12. Ball on the left hash as the Heels go right to left. May, clean pocket. Now he rolls out to the right. He's going to try to go deep. Has a man there. Caught! And touchdown, Carolina! McCollum beats the coverage of Aiden Gooseby for the 46-yard score.
And that's what an elite quarterback would do for you. Get out of the pocket with pressure in his face, able to keep his eyes downfield and find McCollum for the touchdown and drop the dime, the bread right in the basket. Good job all the way around. Good protection by the offensive line and outstanding operation by the receiver and quarterback.
Hey, I tell you what, Tar Heels thought McCollum might help them some this year. I'd say so.
Yes,
drive
sir.
number 1.
Absolutely.
Boy, that was a great catch. First touchdown as a Tar Heel for McCollum, his 4th in his college career. The officials will replay this as McCollum caught it at about the 5. He and Gooseby were kind of tumbling down together after the catch, so there may be some question as to whether or not he crossed the goal line for the score, and the officials say yes, that he did. So for May, it's his 3rd touchdown this year, 42nd of his career. And as we told you in the pregame, Noah Burnett handling the kicks today for Carolina. Ryan Coe out with a lower body injury. So Burnett, who was the kicker last year for the Tar Heels, comes on. He sends that one through the pipes in his first opportunity this season for Carolina. So 11:47 to go in the first quarter. 9 plays, 75 yards, 3:13 off the clock, and a gorgeous 46-yard touchdown made to McCollum has the Tar Heels up 7-0 from Learfield.
All the action, all season long. You're listening to Tar Heel Football.
Tar Heels get the ball first, go 75 yards in 9 plays for the touchdown. 11:47 to go first quarter, 7-0 Carolina. Our coverage today presented by Serve Pro of South Durham and Orange County, where they have collected school supplies for students across the Triangle. Thank you, Serve Pro, for teaming up with Carolina football for this worthy cause. Serve Pro, proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Lee Pace is our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter. And Lee, that touchdown pass for Drake May is number 42 for Drake in his career. He moves the 6th all-time on the Tar Heel list with that score, passing Mitch Trubisky, and a welcome addition to the Tar Heel offense on the other side of that touchdown pass.
Warm welcome down here for Nate McCollum coming off the field. Mac Brown came over, gave him a fist bump, and Nate's had some lower body problems in fall camp this year, so the first thing he did was come over and get on the exercise bike to keep that lower body loose and limber here in the heat. One other thing, trainer Luke Ross took a look at Drake May, who got a little bit stung on that collision over on the far sideline. He was probing underneath Drake's around his chest and underneath his shoulder pads, but Drake kind of slugged him off and kind of came over and just sat onto the bench. He looked to be good to go for the next Carolina offensive possession.
We mentioned in the pregame with Coe out. Coe's been handling not just the field goals and PATs, but also the kickoffs. It will be Clemson transfer Liam Boyd, a redshirt freshman from Asheville. Not a football player for most of his high school career, was a soccer player, but now kicking, and he will take over with Coe injured. Burnett on PATs and field goals, and Boyd on kickoffs. Coe had been good. 9 of his 12 kickoffs have been touchbacks, which is what Carolina wants. We'll see what Boyd does here. Good end-over-end kick, and that one will bounce a good 5 yards into the end zone on its first hop. So mission accomplished there for the newbie, and Minnesota will take over on the 25-yard line. Let's give you the offensive starters. Ethan Kaliak-Manis, the redshirt sophomore quarterback for Minnesota. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions so far this season. A combo of Sean Tyler and Darius Taylor, the running backs. Daniel Jackson and Corey Crooms, 2 receivers. We'll see if Chris Ottman-Bell, a veteran receiver who has not played much this year, we'll see if he's available or not for Minnesota today. Brevin Span-Ford is the tight end. We'll give you the rest in just a second. Minnesota play action, rolling to the near side, wide open in the flat, and heading down the near sideline is Taylor. Power Eccles was late getting out there. He finally catches up and drags him down, but near midfield, a 25-yard play on just a simple play-action rollout and dump-off.
Yeah, Jones, I think it was big as the safety who had his eyes in the backfield and allowed the tight end to get out in the flats. Got to have to be eye discipline. Let the guys up front that's inside. You're not going to make that play in the run game. Keep your eyes where they're supposed to be.
Minnesota, so all the way out to midfield on the first snap of the game. Now a play action, and a pass is high, incomplete. To the left hash, looking for Corey Crooms, but the throw high. Listed starters on the O-line for Minnesota. Ariante Cersei is the left tackle. Tyler Cooper at left guard. Nathan Bowe, the center. Martez Lewis at right guard. Quinn Carroll at right tackle. For the Tar Heels, Des Evans, Kevin Hester, Miles Murphy, Kamen Rucker, the listed starters on the front four. Gray and Eccles at linebacker. It is Huzzy getting the start at star, with Holloway and Allen getting the call at corner. Don Chapman and Gio Biggers are the safeties. So 2nd and 10 Minnesota. Carolina up 7-0. Minnesota at midfield and emptying out the backfield. Here comes pressure. Kaliamakis able to get out of the pocket, though. And Kaliakmanis crosses the 40 for a 12-yard scamper to move the chains. He got down actually 11 yards to the 39. Power Eccles finished it up. So Minnesota, after running the ball more than 50 times in the game last week, has come out looking to the air. The little scream or a little dump off, a pass down the field, and now a scramble gain to get into Carolina territory at the 40. Kaliakmanis, big guy at 6'4". He's going to push it forward on the jet sweep to Crooms. Tried to cross the left side of the line and was rudely met there by Power Eccles. Gio Biggers in the mix, too, and minimal gain there of just one.
Yeah, and I think Minnesota's taking a page from App State, trying to get Carolina off balance, working the field horizontally, spreading them out, and then ultimately they're going to come back to the power run game, but right now they're just trying to soften them up.
Kaliakmanis will be in the shotgun with the freshman Taylor to his right. 2nd and 9. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Gophers going left to right. Heels up 7-0 here in the first quarter. A draw handoff. Oh, Tar Heels had a chance for the hit in the backfield. Couldn't do it. And Taylor able to get out to the 30. It was Hester who missed the tackle right there at the line of scrimmage. Huzzy cleans it up, but it's a gain of 9. Gain of 8 make it. And it will be 3rd and short.
Yeah, and those are opportunities you have to take advantage of, especially against a running team. Anytime you can get short yardage plays or minus yardage plays, it really sets them against. They don't want to have to throw the ball, especially in 3rd and long situations.
This is 3rd and 1. Minnesota converting at better than 50% so far this season. They've got 2 tight ends, which they flip to the right side of the line. So heavy personnel over there. A delayed handoff to Taylor, and he does rocket through for the first down. Gain of 5 on the play. Javari Ritzy checked in. The junior from Kernersville makes the stop. So an early 3rd down conversion for Minnesota keeps the drive going. And they're on the edge of the red zone at the Tar Heel 25-yard line. 7-0 Carolina. 8:41 and counting first quarter. Ball on the far hash as Minnesota goes left to right. First meeting between these two schools. May already has a 46-yard touchdown to McCollum, but Minnesota trying to answer. Pressure coming, and the throw tipped up in the air and intercepted. Power Eccles able to make the pick. The ball tipped off the hand of Brevin Span Ford. It elevated up. Eccles came in and cradled it down.
Yeah, and that's the play Carolina defensively needed. A big play, get a turnover, get your offense back off the field, keep points from getting on the board.
Eccles with his 2nd, make it 3rd career interception. Remember, he had one in the bowl game last year against Oregon for a big play. Had one against Georgia State earlier in his career as well. This one comes at the 8:25 mark of the first quarter. And Carolina will take over on the 16-yard line. May in the shotgun. He's going to keep it on the ground. Nice job by Minnesota plugging the hole there. Jack Henderson takes down the Tar Heels for a short run. by Hampton of just 2. So it'll be 2nd and 8 as Carolina moving it out to the 18-yard line. Second turnover that Carolina has gained this season. May, slow drop back, now rolls out to the right, keeping his eyes down the field, and he will just throw it out of bounds. And it will bring up 3rd down. So, 3rd and 8. Clock stops, 7:52 to go in the first quarter.
You know, right now Minnesota has done a really good job against the run. Carolina has to be patient, stay with the run, trust that you can get the ball moving on the ground.
3rd and 8. Tar Heels 1 for 2 on 3rd down thus far. They lead it 7-0. Power Eccles with an interception has given Carolina the ball, but the Tar Heels quickly facing a 3rd and long. May whips it complete, 1st down between the numbers and the hash, right side. It's Nate McCollum again. He said, look, I've only played 9 snaps in the first 2 games. I need to get out there and get some action. Zardy has a touchdown and a 14-yard catch there.
And Carolina that should be a penalty, 12 men on the field.
Carolina moving quickly. There is a flag. Tar Heels hand it off to Hampton and get positive yards, but as Brian said, think Minnesota had too many guys on the field.
Substitution flag against the defense. 12 men on the play, on the field when the ball was snapped. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So Carolina, even though Hampton gained about 5, they'll take the 5 yards and keep it at 1st down with the penalty. So that'll move the ball to the 37-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 5 for the Tar Heels. Going from right to left, ball on the far hash.
And that's good recognition by May, understanding that Minnesota's trying to get a substitution, getting the ball snapped so he can get the penalty and a free 5 yards and a free down.
That's the second time this year, by the way, that Span Ford has had a ball pop off his hands and then have the opposition intercept it. Now, that ball was a little behind him. He just got a hand on it before Eccles made the pick. May pulls it away from the running back. Quick hitter to McCollum, and a really nice job by Minnesota to shut the door as an immediate hit on the play by Darius Green, the safety. That loses a yard back to the 36-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 6. Remember, that was 1st and 5 for the Tar Heels, who lead it 7-0. May claps his hands, but now eases up. Everybody will look to the sideline. It's Hampton to his right. Pesor, Morales, and McCollum bunch up to the left side of the line. J.J. Jones, the lone receiver, to the right. May, time to throw. Now pressure comes, so May gets out of the pocket, takes another big hit, and this time he's slow to get up. He gets to the 37, and May is up, but hands on hips as the scramble gain is of just 1. Already a couple of big shots on the Tar Heel quarterback here early in the game. Carolina 2 for 3 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 5. And again, the Heels will ease up and look to the sideline. They're on their own 37-yard line. Ball on the far hash, going right to left. 5:57 and counting in the first quarter. May, this time gets out of the pocket to the near side. May going to try and tuck it and run for the 1st down. He gets to the sticks, and yes, will move it. May still a little slow moving.
Yeah, he is.
He's got both hands on his hips as he comes away from the Tar Heel sideline, but he was well enough to scramble for 6 and give Carolina now a fresh set of downs. Tar Heels moving. May still, Brian, he just doesn't look like he's feeling great, does he?
No.
He got popped in between the shoulder blades, not on that last play, but the one before that. As a flag comes in, it's not a delay of game, maybe a false start.
Offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Yeah, that's one of those where you get it on a wide receiver, Kobe Pesor, and you just think, how?
Yep.
It's going to make it 1st and 15 as the ball moves back to the 38-yard line.
Especially considering it was a run play anyway.
7-0 Carolina. Tar Heels get a 46-yard touchdown made to McCollum on the first drive, and then get an interception on the first defensive effort. May, nice throw down the field. Nice catch in traffic by McCollum. Hit hard by Newman, but McCollum kept his feet and hit out of bounds at the 45-yard line of the Gophers. That's another 1st down. Gain of 23. McCollum now already got him at 7 catches. We'll confirm that in just a second because Carolina's already up to the line of scrimmage. He's the only Tar Heel that's made a catch as, British Brooks in the backfield. Well, he slipped. I thought British's backside had hit the ground, but apparently not. He got back up and was able to just scurry forward back to the line of scrimmage. So instead of a loss of maybe 2, instead it's going to be 2nd and 10. Either way, not what Carolina wanted as Brooks just lost his footing. So McCollum, 7 catches, 101 yards. Every completion has been to McCollum. We're still in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 on the 45. Another run, a patient one up the middle. I believe it was British Brooks. Stood up after a gain of 2, maybe 3. Devin Eastern with the hit. And it's another 3rd down for the Tar Heels. 3 of 4 thus far on 3rd down. Wholesale substitutions coming in for the Minnesota defense. Carolina moving quickly. 3rd and 8. And, they had Minnesota scrambling to get in position. May claps his hands, but then eases up. 3rd and 8. Tar Heels up 7-0. Shotgun snap to May. Gophers bring pressure, and this time they get to May. Jaw Joyner, a redshirt junior from Danbury, Connecticut, able to get to the Tar Heel QB, and ball's at about midfield. Carolina might be leaving the offense on the field. That is a loss of 6 on the sack. So it is 4th and 14. And Carolina appears to be going for it. 3:15 and counting in the first quarter. Now, they could also just be taking a delay of game or maybe a quick punt here from May. And that's what it is. It's the quick kick from May. It will hit at the 18-yard line, take a positive Carolina roll, and go out of bounds at around the 13. What can't that guy do? Comes in there with a nice little 35-yard pooch punt to put Minnesota inside its own 20. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. See if Lee can get a report on Drake May for us, who's taking some shots here early in this one. Tar Heels 7, Minnesota 0. 3 minutes to go, first quarter from Learfield. Tar Heels 7, Golden Gophers 0. Minnesota will have the football, though. 1st and 10 on its own 13. Carolina football brought to you in part by the Good Feet store. If you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, Good Feet arch supports are engineered to support all 4 arches to provide pain relief, balance, and comfort. Try them for yourself. Book your free fitting today at goodfeet.com. We need to take a 10-second station identification break. Heels up 7-0. 3 minutes to go, first quarter on the Tar Heel Sports Network. Lee Pace is our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter. Lee, we've talked about Drake May taking some big hits here early. What's going on with the Tar Heel quarterback?
Well, he appears no worse for the wear right now. Jones, he came over, sat down on the sideline, is drinking Gatorade in front of me, had the headsets on with Chip Lindsey upstairs. Right now he's talking with Manny Miles, one of the offensive analysts. Does not seem to have any problems right now. He's not showing any pain or any ill effects right now, so hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed that all's good with Drake.
Somebody who's definitely been all good so far is Nate McCollum. 7 catches, 101 yards already. It is his, of course, first game with 100-plus as a Tar Heel. 4th in his career. His career high came while at Georgia Tech as far as yards. That was 103 against Virginia Tech last season. His career high in receptions is 8. So he's closing in on those numbers already here in the first quarter. But it will be Minnesota on the field with 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Heels up 7-0. By the way, first Tar Heel to get 100 or more yards receiving since Downs did it, Josh Downs, in the ACC title game last year. All right, Minnesota in the shotgun. Callie McManus drops back to throw. Nice one to the near sideline. Caught at the 25. Immediate hit by Tayon Holloway, bumping out Corey Crooms, but Good, strong throw there for Minnesota and a gain of 13 in total. And, Brian, one thing about Callie McManus, he's got a strong arm now, and he showed it off right there.
No question, and you could tell by the play call that Minnesota trusts him to make the plays, even though he had the errant throw on the interception, but they trust him to make the plays with the passing game.
It's the freshman Taylor behind Callie McManus, who's under center. He'll send Crooms in motion from right to left through the formation and hand off to Taylor. Taylor picking his way right side, pops it to the outside where he has some space. Nice job by Huzzy getting off a block and making a tackle. Had he not, that could have been big trouble for Carolina. It's still a 15-yard gain and a first down.
Yeah, right now Minnesota's opening up the gaps up front. Power Echols had a slim chance to make that play, but they were able to get hands on the push and pass, and then good patience by the ball carrier.
Tar Heels have some reserves on the defensive front, including Tamari Fox, Javari Ritzie, and Bo Atkinson. Callie McManus under center, 1st and 10. This time it's a play action. He's looking for a deep ball. He'll try it down the left side and just overshoots an open Corey Crooms. Gio Biggers was a couple steps behind, but fortunately for the Tar Heels, the throw inaccurate, and it's second down.
Yeah, Carolina, if you know they're going to do a lot of play action as well as they run the football, and as much as they run the football, safeties have to get depth and keep looking. As long as you get in vertical push, you have to stay on your back pedal and don't let anything get on top of you.
2nd and 10 for Minnesota, moving from left to right. Ball on the far hash at the 42-yard line. Still 7-0 Carolina. Late in the first quarter, 1:41 to go in the first frame. Callie McManus, quick little screen to the near side, and Sean Tyler. And this time the Tar Heels close the door. Cedric Gray, first man there. Power Echols finishes it up. Just a little swing pass, kind of quick little screeny type of thing from Minnesota. And Carolina was all over it. No gain, 3rd and 10.
Yeah, good job by Carolina throwing to the ball, but it was Atkinson who was out there, was able to force that ball to cut back in and then allow Cedric Gray to make the tackle.
Minnesota converted its only third down opportunity so far in the game. This is a 3rd and 10. Minnesota a little confused personnel-wise. Lemecki Brockington was going off, then came back in. The play clock's down to 3. They do get the snap off. Pressure on the way. The throw is almost intercepted on the far sideline. It was Armani Chapman, the Virginia Tech transfer, who about darn near made a one-handed interception. Good pressure from Cedric Gray in the face of Callie McManus.
Yeah, and that almost was the second time that Cedric Gray forced the interception, because on the Powell Echo interception, it was Cedric Gray who forced the pressure for the errant throw. So good job by Cedric inserting on the inside blitz.
And Brian, I mean, not that it's not the recipe all the time, but man, you get this Minnesota team into 3rd and long. I mean, that's where the Tar Heels want them.
You have to, because of their ability to run the football. If they can operate in 3rd and short, you're going to be in trouble.
Short punt coming up to make the fair catch right around the 20 is Huzzy. It will be marked right at the 20-yard line. 38-yard kick by Mark Crawford, who is, by the way, he'll be 30 years old in December. He's from Australia. He's the 6th oldest player in Division I football, and his punt there has the Tar Heels taking over at their own 20-yard line. May is coming back out there. Not that that was necessarily in question. Gavin Blackwell and Andre Green, couple reserves at receiver, will be in, along with Paysor. Blackwell and Paysor to the right, the youngster Green to the left. Copenhaver will be out there as well. Copenhaver, much less of a wrap on that right hand than he had last week. It's still taped heavily, but doesn't have a big club on there like he did last week. All that talk about the receivers, and Carolina's going to keep it on the ground. Going right side. Hampton gains 2 to the 22-yard line. It will be 2nd and 8.
Yeah, thus far, one thing you have to say about this Minnesota defense, they're stout up front against the run, and they've been tackling really well.
10 carries, 15 yards so far for Carolina. Longest run is 6 yards, and that was a Drake May scramble. Longest handoff gain for Carolina has been 4 yards. So Minnesota, as Brian referenced, doing a good job there. It looks like the Tar Heels are just going to milk this clock to the end of quarter number 1. They will let it run out. So The 46-yard touchdown from May to McCollum, the only score in quarter number 1. Tar Heels have the 7-0 lead. They will be looking at 2nd and 8 at their own 22. The first play of the second quarter. Heels up a touchdown through 1 in Keenan from Learfield. Still 7-0 Tar Heels going to the second quarter. Carolina will have the football at their own 22-yard line, 2nd and 8. Field flip, so Carolina will be going from left to right on this Kenan Stadium field, awash in bright sunshine, just some fluffy white clouds up, nothing threatening around. It is a warm, beautiful day for football here in Chapel Hill. We're brought to you in part by SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of Carolina Athletics. Whether you're buying or selling football tickets, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek, so Tar Heel fans can fan. Let's check out the stats from the first quarter presented by Lenovo, a global technology leader that has called North Carolina home since 2005. Lenovo.com, their website, smarter technology for all. Tar Heels 118 yards in that first quarter, 101 in the air, 17 on the ground, and 11 chances running the football. 3 of 5 on third down has helped Carolina to 6 total first downs. They've run 20 plays compared to 12 for Minnesota. Heels had the ball 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Minnesota 5:40. Gophers 79 yards, 39 passing, 40 rushing. They were 1 for 2 on third down. So Carolina has the football. Again, May and the Heels going left to right now in the second quarter. May 7 of 9, all his completions to McCollum. And by the way, they have adjusted McCollum's yardage number down to 95. So not over 100 now. They've adjusted those to 7 of 9 for 95 yards for May, and all 95 of those receiving yards by McCollum. A lot of time to throw for May, kind of pump fakes. Now he dumps it off over the middle. Hampton is there, step through a tackle. Hampton at the 35, tripped up near the 40. As Carolina gains 17. Patient play there by May. Wanted to go farther down the field. It wasn't there, so he went to his outlet for a nice gain. Tar Heels continue to play with pace. They're going to stretch it to the near side on the ground, and Minnesota does a nice job holding that to just 1 yard. Hampton dragged down by Logan Richter. Hampton with a nice cutback. Right when he cut back, I thought, ooh, this might be good. But Richter, the fifth-year senior, did a nice job bringing him down.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Minnesota's doing an excellent job of tackling. I don't know if they missed the tackle all day. And for this being the third game, they've been the best tackling team we've faced.
May will set up in the pistol with Hampton behind him. Play action to him, rolling out to the near side. Now May will tuck and get out of bounds around the 45. Jack Henderson, the final Gopher, to chase down May. It's a scramble gain of 4, and it will bring up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, I felt like May had a chance to hit Andre Green over on the sideline if he would have just threw it out front.
Boy, Tar Heels have already snapped it.
Oh, wide open Morales.
May rolling to the right side. There's Morales. He is indeed wide open. He will get caught inside the 5, dragged down at the 1. But the Tar Heel tight end with the explosive play. 1st and goal, Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina fans can thank the pace of that play for that big play. Carolina right now is moving at a pace that's so quick Minnesota can't get substitutions in, and they can't get a line properly.
55 yards as Carolina's already snapped it, and powering to the end zone is Hampton for 6. The Tar Heels going at light speed, and the Gophers can't catch up right now. Nothing. Carolina with the extra point on the way. Morales with the explosive play. I mean, Brian, you heard Brian saw that about 3 seconds before it happened. He was running unguarded. The throw maybe just a little underthrown. Allowed Gooseby to catch up in the end, but Carolina gets what it wanted with the 1 yard run by Hampton. The extra point is good, and the Tar Heels lead it 14-0. 6 plays, 80 yards, 2:25 off the clock. The 1 yard touchdown run by Hampton finishes it off. By the way, for Hampton, that is already 6 rushing touchdowns this season. He had the most touchdowns in the ACC and the second most rushing touchdowns in the nation for a Power 5 team through the first couple weeks. Tar Heels up 14-0, 13-17 to go, second quarter from Learfield.
All the action, all season long. You're listening to Tar Heel Football.
13 minutes and 17 seconds to play before halftime. Carolina holds a 14-0 lead on Minnesota as Omari Hampton's 1-yard touchdown run, the first red zone score allowed by Minnesota so far into week 3 of the season. Just some other scores around the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. We know very well what the ACC has done to the SEC so far this year. South Florida leads number 10 Alabama 3-0 in the first quarter down at USF. And in the SEC, it's a true SEC game between the hedges. South Carolina leads number 1 Georgia 7-3. This game still early on in the second quarter. Jones?
Brian, there's been a lot of talk about the Tar Heels wanting to be able to push the ball down the field more in the pass game, lack of explosive plays, at least in relative terms. 46-yard touchdown pass, a 55-yarder that set up the 1-yard touchdown run. But they've hit some big ones that have aided their cause today.
Yeah, and you have to be smart and be able to operate under the premise of taking what the defense gives you. And right now, Carolina is going to face a lot of defense that's going to stay too safety high. So those throws are not going to be there all the time. And that's why last week we talked about, because App State decided to stay with the 2 safety high, we were able to run all the air out of the football. So Carolina is smart with play calling. Drake May is smart with decision making, and they'll take whatever the defense gives them, and they'll try to push the ball downfield when the opportunity is there.
Quentin Redding on the far hash awaiting the kickoff from Liam Boyd. It will be a touchback as it again bounces about halfway through the end zone. So Tar Heels up 14-0. Let's check in with Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
Jones, Mac Brown said this week that Kaz Walker has at least told him that he does want to stay in school and work toward his degree. Kaz is here on the sideline. He's active, big smile on his face when he greeted Nate McCollum after that first touchdown pass, and then had a nice word with Morales here just a moment ago after the big play down to the 1. So Kaz haven't smiled much so far these first 6 weeks of the season, but he is involved and having fun with his teammates today.
It's going to be another full timeout here in Kenan Stadium, so we'll take the break. By the way, that 55-yard touchdown reception for Morales that set up the touchdown, that ties his longest catch of his Tar Heel career. There seems to be some question as to whether or not we are going to commercial break. I guess we are. Okay, we'll go to break here. Tar Heels up 14-0. Minnesota will have the football after this from Learfield. $13-17 to go, second quarter, 14-0. During that commercial break, I just said, man, it'd be nice to get another stop and go get some more points. And Brian said, just score 2 touchdowns while you're at it. Yeah, I mean, Tar Heels have played well to this point, certainly. They have 190 yards of offense against a Minnesota defense that was only allowing 223 per game. Carolina has a turnover that they forced a punt around midfield after a short drive from Minnesota. So a lot of good things have happened thus far. It's okay to want more, though, Brian. Come on.
Absolutely.
And Minnesota will be snapping on its own 25. Second quarter, so Gophers going right to left. Ball on the near hash. Freshman Darius Taylor behind Kaliak Manis, who was under center. Hilson Crooms in motion. Turn around and hand off to Taylor, and Carolina bottles it up. Rucker was in the backfield and slowed up Taylor. That allowed Amari Campbell, true freshman from Manassas, Virginia, a reserve linebacker who the Tar Heel coaches have just been raving about. He comes in and helps make the play.
Yeah, Carolina talked about wanting to play more guys at the linebacker position. Now you see them putting that thought into practice.
Yep. Campbell's out there with Seth Gray, so Eccles getting a breather. Both the linebackers, Gray and Eccles, played 90 plays last week against Appalachian State. Play action, Kaliak Manis, incomplete. Came to the near side, and Amani Chapman, the Virginia Tech transfer, hadn't played very much in the first couple of games. The coaches said they wanted to get him some more action. And he knocks the ball away from Daniel Jackson and brings up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, good job by Chapman. Keep following. The slant was there, but the throw was a little behind. But good job by Chapman getting his hands in there, breaking the ball up.
Minnesota 1 for 2 thus far on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 10. Tar Heels up 14-0, trying to force a quick 3 and out. Crooms goes in motion to the right side. There's 3 receivers over there now for Minnesota. Callie McManus. Heels will rush just 3. The ball tipped off the hands of his tight end, Brevin Spanford, and incomplete. That's twice now that Spanford has had the ball pop off his hands. He's a good player. Yes. 77 career receptions. The first one, as we documented, was behind him. It would have been a tough catch. That one was right in his hands. Would have been close to a first down with the catch and run, but instead it's a 3 and out.
Yeah, I think Carolina got a little lucky there. They looked a little unorganized in coverage. They wasn't quite sure how to get a line, who had who, and then Spain out just dropped the football.
Huzzy back to receive the punt. It is angled to the far sideline, and Huzzy, again, the fair catch, brings it in at the 28-yard line. It's a 48-yard punt. And, hey, what do you say we take another full TV timeout? What do you think? At 12:25 in the 3rd quarter, and we're going to take yet another break, or 2nd quarter, and take another break. 14-0 Carolina. They'll have the football after this from Learfield. Tar Heels 14, Minnesota 0. Carolina will have the football when action resumes here in the 2nd quarter. 12:25 to go in that quarter. Time of possession, a big story. Last week, Appalachian held the football for 33-39 of that game. Tar Heels had it just 26 minutes, 21 seconds. And Minnesota was 3rd in the nation last year in time of possession. They're 9th in the country this year. But so far, Heels have held the ball 11 minutes and 3 seconds. Minnesota just 6:32. Let's quickly check in with Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
Mac Brown just came over to the offensive line, made a rolling motion with his hand, indicating up-tempo. He wants this unit to go down and put up another big touchdown here to go up 3 scores early in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, the pace of play has certainly been a story. The Tar Heels have been pushing that pace. Minnesota, perhaps, it's not incredibly hot today, mid-80s, but certainly warmer, you would expect, than what Minnesota is used to competing in on a consistent basis. May, ready to go on 1st down. Flushed out of the pocket to the near side and intercepted by the nickelback for Minnesota. That is Jack Henderson. And just like that, Minnesota gets back in the ball game. Henderson comes down the sideline inside the 20, and the Gophers, with the big turnover, quell that Tar Heel momentum. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 16.
Yeah, great play call. I like the play call. The receiver was open, and that was just a good football play by Minnesota to get a big-time turnover where they need it, ready to operate in the red zone. Now let's see if Carolina defensively can stand up and force Minnesota to a field goal attempt at best.
Henderson, a transfer from Southeast Louisiana, gets his first interception as a member of Minnesota's team, 7th of his career. So the Gophers, the automatic red zone opportunity at the Carolina 16-yard line. Pressure coming. Hester chasing Callie McManus, who just has to sling it out of bounds. Big old Kevin Hester was rumbling after Callie McManus. Hester listed at 6'4", 315. Forced the throwaway, 2nd down.
Yeah, good job by Hester and the big man. Even though that's a good play, big guys hate using up all that gas and not being able to touch the quarterback.
2nd and 10. Minnesota trying to make the interception pay off with quick points. 14-0 Tar Heels, but Minnesota with a spark after the turnover. It will be a handoff to Taylor. Cutting back as he stretched it to the right side, and he's going to have... He'll have the 1st down, I believe, or very close to it.
About half a yard, Jones.
So it's going to be 3rd and short, it appears, for Minnesota. Third and less than a yard needed. Minnesota has it at the 7-yard line. They need the 6 for the first down.
Minnesota has unbalanced to the right.
They'll hand off to Taylor. He's met in the backfield, but pushes the pile for the first down to the 6-yard line. Amari Gaynor, first contact for Carolina, but it sets up a 1st and goal for the Gophers.
First down, Carolina, special defensive end, alert for some kind of bootleg action to get the quarterback out. See if they want to try to get the ball in the paint right now. First down, feeling comfortable about their ability to run the football from the 5-yard line.
Callie Manis will be under center. 1st and goal from the 6. Taylor the back behind him. Play action. Callie Manis looking to the end zone and wide. His receiver slipped. Daniel Jackson. The throw was pretty errant as well. Even if Jackson had kept his footing, I don't think that's a completion. It'll be 2nd and goal. So May's interception, his 3rd of the season, 10th of his Carolina career. And again, tip of the cap to Jack Henderson, who made a really nice play for the Gophers.
Yep. And Carolina's time to stand up against the run game. You see right now Minnesota has extra offensive linemen in, tight end. They want to run the football.
They're going to flip those tight ends to the left side of the line. Very heavy over there. 2nd and goal from the 6. They'll keep it on the ground. First contact made in the backfield by Eccles. That slowed up Taylor. And multiple Tar Heels get there to finish the play. It will be 3rd and goal after a gain of 1.
Yeah, good job by Eccles to disrupt the play, but those are the type of plays that you have to come up with. That can be the difference between 6 points and a field goal attempt. Got to make that play.
It'll be 3rd and goal from the 5.
And Carolina, be prepared to play 2 more downs. I think Minnesota's a chance if they don't get it here on 3rd down that they may go for, especially if they get positive yardage.
Again, the 2 tight ends flip over from the right side of the line to the left. Callie McManus is in the shotgun. He will throw. Time to do so, and it is incomplete in the end zone. Huzzy almost had the interception. He was tightly defending Jackson on the right side. Just couldn't quite come down with it, but does break it up.
Absolutely. Got one hand on it, was able to bring it down to his body, but once he hit the ground, it knocked it loose. Great play by Huzzy.
Minnesota is going to send out the field goal unit. Dragan Kesic, 5 of 6 so far this season. This is just a 23-yard kick. Off the right hash. Kesic is a left-footed kicker. Snap back, spot down, and he rockets it through to make it 14-3. So Carolina, Brian, I got to say, all things considered there, after the interception, Minnesota taking over in the red zone. Tar Heels forced them to convert the 3 points on the field goal.
And that's all you can ask your defense to do, is force the team to go out there and attempt the field goal. Field goal kicker operation was good. They put it through the upright. But for Carolina, that's a win.
So Kesic from 23 yards. The drive goes 7 plays, 11 yards, 229 after the pick. And it's 14-3 with 9:47 to go in the second quarter. Carolina will make the return trip to Minnesota next season. In fact, that's the first game as the schedule currently stands. That would be the first game of the season next year. It's scheduled for August 29th of 2024. If you don't include Maryland, who of course is in the Big Ten now, Carolina 16-13 all time against Big Ten teams. This is the first time they've met up with an opponent from the Big Ten since September 10th, 2016. They beat Illinois 48-23 that night. Tar Heels do hold the all-time lead over Maryland as well, 37-32-1, of course, after Maryland's lengthy stay in the ACC. What a rocket of a kick, gracious, from Kesic. That sailed through the end zone in the air, and it'll put the Tar Heels on the 25. Let's check in with Lee, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
Well, Ed Montless continues to play left guard for the Tar Heels. Willie Lampkin is here. He is available, but he got hurt at one of the last plays of practice on Tuesday, missed a media opportunity, and so he has been recovering the rest of the week, but he could go today. But good job by Ed Monolith. That ankle injury looked like it might be serious after South Carolina missed last week, but he's full go today and playing well.
Pounds, Monolith, Gaynor, Barnes, Rollin, the O-line for Carolina. May throwing on first down. He hits McCollum. McCollum kind of falling down as he made the catch, so he couldn't advance, but he does gain a good 6 or 7 yards on the play. So quality first down gain for Carolina. We'll call it 7. And say 2nd and 3 off the Tar Heel 32. Heels moving left to right. Ball on the far hash. It's 14-3. Carolina on top. Out of the pistol, May hands to British Brooks, stretching to the far side and nothing doing. In fact, he lost a couple to the 30. Kyler Ball makes the stop. And, boy, Minnesota continues to make things tough on the ground for the Tar Heels. Unofficially, that's 15 carries, just 21 yards. May, plenty of success through the air, though, including another completion. That's going to be a first down as Bryson Nesbitt makes the catch between the hash and numbers left side. He advances to the 44, a gain of 14.
Yeah, right now Minnesota has been struggling with the seam routes, whether it's through the tight end or the slot receiver. We've seen multiple plays where they allow that guy just to run freely.
Tar Heels now 5 of 7 on third down. May. Quick swing pass to the near side. Pacor. The ball was behind Pacor, so he had to spin to catch it. By the time he started heading back up the field, Maverick Baranowski had been able to catch back up, missling in, and ends up stopping it for a 4-yard gain. That maybe had the potential for more. Ends up, though, 2nd and 6.
Yeah, May wants to put that ball on the front pocket. You know, that allows the receiver to be able to catch the ball in stride, get his foot in the ground, and then go upfield.
8 minutes to go, second quarter. Carolina 14, Minnesota 3. May play action. Looking deep, now he'll tuck it. Rolling out to the far side, cuts up the field. May will slide as he crosses the Minnesota 45. He'll say the slide started at the Gopher 46. That should be enough to move the chains. It does. Remember, when you slide down, the play ends where you slid. First down, May, another play action. Pressure coming. He comes to the near side. Really strong arm throw. And nice catch by J.J. Jones at the Gopher 37-yard line. But a flag is down in the backfield.
Holding. Offense. Number 61. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, the scoreboard here says 3rd and 1. So now they are moving the chain. So that the play 2 plays ago was May's scramble was enough for the first down, even though it was incorrect. They didn't move the chains, and the scoreboard said 3rd and 1. But there's also the hold there on Diego Pounds. So that moves it back to the Minnesota or to the Carolina 44. So all said and done, it's 1st and long for Carolina as they'll swing it into the flat near side. Morales steps through a tackle at the 50 and bumped out of bounds in Minnesota territory. Darius Green, the safety, with the hit. It will be 2nd down at the Minnesota 47-yard line. So that pass gained 9. It will be 2nd and 11. Scoreboard struggling here in Kenan Stadium to catch up. 14-3 Carolina, 6:53 and counting. Heels going left to right, ball on the near hash. Shotgun snap to May, who will drop back and throw. Ball is tipped and incomplete. Boy, that was dangerous.
Yes, it was.
Maverick Baranowski tipped it. Andre Green was the intended receiver, but the tip made it anybody's football. 3rd down.
Yeah, Carolina right now 3rd and 11. Don't look for them to try to get all 11. I think they'll try to get half of it and then see if they'll go for it on 4th down.
Told you Tar Heels 5 of 7 on 3rd downs so far, but this is 3rd and 11. May quickly throws. There's McCollum. Yep. Easy first down. He just sat down against the Minnesota zone right at the yard to gain. Caught the ball, fell forward to the 35. It's a gain of 12.
Yeah, Jones, he was wide open from the beginning, and like I talked about, Minnesota's struggling to match up with the slot receiver, whether it's an actual receiver or the tight end.
So Carolina now 6 of 8 on 3rd down. McCollum gracious. Have him now unofficially, that's his 9th catch of the day. We'll update those numbers for you in just a second. May play action, has to, oh my gosh, he threw it right to Minnesota. Intercepted by former Tar Heel Chris Collins. May was getting pressured, and instead of just taking the sack, he tried to throw it away and threw it right to his former teammate for his 2nd pick of the day. So a good drive for Carolina, absolutely dies on a poor throw from May.
And you make that throw, you have to throw it clearly out of bounds. Don't even let it be any chance that the ball stays in the field of play.
So, Carol, that's interceptions on back-to-back possessions for May. And Minnesota is already up and ready to start this drive. They'll be snapping it off the 28-yard line. And Taylor breaks the first tackle, gets into the secondary, and crosses the 40. For Chris Collins, the former Tar Heel, that is his first career interception. Minnesota now trying to play with some pace. Handoff to Taylor, and Gray almost able to get him from behind. Taylor able to sneak forward, though, for some positive yards. Gets to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, the first interception that May threw was just a good play by the Minnesota defender. The second was just a bad decision by May. Those are the type of plays that you cannot make, especially for a quarterback his caliber.
14-3 Carolina. Minnesota has it on its own 47-yard line. They'll try a play action this time. Pressure coming from Jacoby Cowan as the throw just goes out of bounds. Callie McManus saw the pressure coming from the Ohio State transfer and just had to sail it out of bounds. There's a Tar Heel shaken up.
Injury timeout.
It is Rucker, Kamen Rucker, who's had such a great start to the year for the Heels, is on his hands and knees back at the line of scrimmage. Minnesota will be facing a 3rd and 5 when we come back. The Rucker injury, though, will send us to a full timeout. 5:04 to go first half. Still 14-3 Carolina from Learfield.
All the action, all season long. You're listening to Tar Heel Football.
Minutes, 4 seconds to go first half. Carolina 14, Minnesota 3. But Tar Heels led this 14-0 and had the ball. But back-to-back possessions have ended in interceptions. And so Minnesota made the first one pay off with a field goal and has the ball 3rd and 5 on the ensuing drive after the last interception. Couple things. First of all, Kamen Rucker did walk off under his own power. He has gone into the medical tent. Secondly, Drake May now in his last 7 games has more interceptions than touchdowns. He has 7 touchdowns and 8 interceptions going back to last season. He already has 2 interceptions today, both coming in this quarter. Tar Heels have thrown it 9 times and run it 5 times in this quarter, with 2 of those 9 passes being intercepted. Reminder that everyday style is easy with favorite looks for family fun and saving a ton at Kohl's. Whether you're savoring summer or gearing up for fall, they have you covered. Shop Kohl's and Kohl's.com today. Lee, looks like a lot of concern over Kamen Rucker in that medical tent.
Well, actually, he looks okay. He popped out of the tent.
He just came out, didn't he? Yeah.
After about 45 seconds, it was a lower back injury that they were paying attention to. He's done some warm-up exercises here on the sideline. He's shaking Luke Ross off. He's good to go. I think we're going to see Kamen back fairly soon.
He just got his helmet back. Can't come in for this play, of course. But hopefully we'll be back out there soon. Tar Heels hope it's after they get a 3rd down stop and next time the defense is on the field. 3rd and 5, ball between the hashes at the Minnesota 47. Gophers going right to left. Heels up 14-3, getting late in quarter number 2. Heels rush just 4, and the ball incomplete. Tipped up in the middle of the line, and a late flag comes in.
Very late.
I mean, seconds, 5, 6, 7 seconds after the play ended.
At the 30. Break. Ball will be spotted at the spot of the foul.
Well, the ball,
automatic first down.
The ball was tipped.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can have pass interference on a tip. I know you can't. So We could not hear Riley Johnson, the referee. He's going to say something again.
Information that the ball was tipped.
Riley Johnson's just kind of walking around.
I think they're going to overturn it because they're going to change it back.
Minnesota is saying the tip came off the helmet of an offensive lineman, I believe.
After discussion, the ball was tipped, hit the head of a defensive player. The flag will be picked up. There's no foul.
Yeah.
Third down.
No, it's fourth down.
Correction. Fourth down.
Yeah, here we go. Hey, good job, Riley Johnson. After about 4 tries, we got it right.
It's all right. We got it right, though.
So it will be a 3, make it 4 plays and out for Minnesota after the interception. And Brian, again, not what you wanted on the pick, but the Tar Heel defense forces a quick punt.
Yeah, because defense, what happens on defense has nothing to do with what happens on offense. If you're a defensive player, the interception by May doesn't matter to you. You're on the field. Your job is to get off the field.
Good angle kick, hits at the 6 and goes into the end zone. I chuckle because Huzzy totally fooled Minnesota. He called for the fair catch and acted like he was going to make it at the 10. Minnesota stopped and stood around, and the ball hit at the 6 and went into the end zone for a touchback. So Carolina will get it at the 20-yard line. 53-yard kick, but a net of 33. Tar Heels will have it again at the 20. And let's check in again with Lee.
Yeah, Jones, Mack Brown raved after the South Carolina game about how great job Huzzy did fooling South Carolina's punt cover guys. And he also had an interesting stat, said he did a great job of just catching some punts he knew he couldn't return. If the ball hits, it's an average of 17 yards that goes against you. So they're want him to catch the ball no matter where it is.
Well, counter handoff. May runs to the left and then hands off to Hampton coming to the right. We saw that play a couple times against South Carolina with success, and it's a 4-yard run. Chris Collins, the former Tar Heel who has that interception, makes the stop. Gain of 4, though. Mayo has interceptions on his last 2 possessions, completes it to McCollum. It will be 1 yard shy, though, of the first down. He was upended at the 29. Carolina going to sneak it, and I think they have it.
He got it, but barely.
Yep, they will move the chains. So Carolina now 7 of 9 on 3rd down. They came in 5th best in the country, converting at 62%. The clock becoming a factor. 3:57 and counting. Tar Heels have all 3 timeouts. Minnesota has 2. 14-3 Tar Heels. Minnesota scheduled to get the ball to start the second half. Hampton standing next to May, and he's going to get the football. And another quality tackle, keeping Hampton to a short gain. Logan Richter trips him up. Hampton was trying to jump through some traffic in the backfield, ends up gaining 1, but that's all.
And every time on a run, when you think Hampton has a little space, there's a Minnesota defender that closes the door quickly.
That's a good point. They've done a nice job with that. May to throw. He's going to try one deep over the middle. J.J. Jones has it in Minnesota territory at the 35. Rides ahead over the 30-yard line. Carolina will have it actually right at the 30. A gain of 39 on the play.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Minnesota's secondary is very soft in the middle of the field. I think there's a lot of yardage and production to be had for the rest of the game there.
May, quick throw, sitting down and making the catch at the 25, and then dancing through traffic is McCollum. He crosses the 20 to the 19, gain of 11.
Yeah, I would keep going right to the slot receiver, whether it's the tight end or it's McCollum. It seems like, I know if I'm a couple of the Carolina receivers, I'm going to walk past Drake May's locker really slow at halftime and show him my number and say, hey.
That's 268 yards passing for May here in the first half. Some pressure coming from the backside. He'll pick it up, and they pick up a touchdown. May to Nesbitt for 6. Like, great job by Hampton picking up the blitz from May's backside. Hits Nesbitt on the pass, He gets into the front right corner for the touchdown.
Yeah, double move. Good job by Drake May showing the football. And then Nesbitt, I love the usage of Nesbitt down here because of his athleticism and his height and his ability to go up and catch the football.
2:23 to go in the first half. 7 plays, 80 yards, 229. That looks a little bit more like number 10 back there playing quarterback, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Extra point, Noah Burnett. Snap back, spot down, and kick is true. So the 19-yard touchdown pass from May to Nesbitt. For May, his second touchdown today to go along with 2 interceptions, all in this first half. He now has 4 touchdowns this year, 43 for his career. For Nesbitt, it is his first touchdown of the season and 6th touchdown of his Tar Heel career. We're at 2:23 on the clock. Tar Heels have their largest lead at any point this season of 18 points, 21-3. But Minnesota going to get the football and has 2 timeouts to work with.
Yeah, and I love the way the Carolina offense came out and answered the turnover drive. You know, you go out and you throw you throw an interception on the previous drive, and then what do you do the next drive? You just take your offense down the field, you Drake May, and then put the ball in the paint to score 6, and Carolina's up big at the half with 2:23 left, so I shouldn't call it the half just yet.
Minnesota does get, and they get the ball to start the second half.
Yep.
So a key sequence here, Tar Heel defense has played well in this first half.
Yes.
But they need one more.
Yep.
And it's a shorter kickoff. Fair catch made right at the 1 by Quentin Redding. So it will be Minnesota ball at the 25. Some of those Lenovo stats, Minnesota does have 70 yards rushing on 10 attempts, 59 of them by Darius Taylor. Callie McManus, though, is just 4 of 15 for 39 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception in the pass game. Minnesota taking over on its 25. 2:23 to go in the half. And again, Minnesota with 2 timeouts. Carolina has 3 timeouts. Callie McManus will be in the shotgun. Sends Crooms in motion. Play action, has time to throw. Lobs it up near the near sideline. Nearly intercepted. And a late flag comes in. Marcus Allen was battling with Daniel Jackson, and it looks like Allen is going to pick up the PI.
Pass interference. G29. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So Allen, who was tested a lot last week, responded with 3 passes broken up and 6 tackles. Youngster, just a sophomore out of Marietta, Georgia, has played well early in his Tar Heel career, but gets the 15-yard infraction there. Carolina, not a bunch of penalties today, but 3 of them have cost them 30 yards. So Minnesota now at the 40-yard line. Callie McManus will get the shotgun snap. Pressure coming from Atkinson. Callie McManus steps up in the pocket. He's going to try and scramble and just kind of falls to the ground before a couple Tar Heels were able to close in, including Eccles. It is a scramble gain of 2. Clock moving, 2 minutes to go in the first half. Carolina up 21-3. Minnesota on the 42-yard line. They've already snapped it. Here comes pressure. The defender fell down for Carolina. That was Chapman, which allowed the receiver Brockington an easy catch on the Tar Heel side of the 50. And Brockington moves it inside the 35. So Chapman, who's done some nice things, loses his footing there. And it hurts the Tar Heels as it's a 25-yard gain to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, Minnesota's done a good job of pushing the ball downfield, coming out, being very aggressive on this drive.
Yep, trying to get back within a couple scores. Tar Heels up 18 right now, but again, Minnesota gets the ball to start the second half. They're trying to get a score and then the ball back. Callie McManus, complete again to Crooms at the 20. Long throw from Callie McManus to the far sideline. Allen able to wrestle him down, but it's another first down. A gain of 15 on the play.
Yeah, and Allen's over there to the field, and you have the corner playing off. That's a lot of green that corner has to be able to cover. You put him in a tough situation.
So Callie McManus, who had been just 4 of 15, has 2 completions on this drive and a pass interference call in there as well. 1:25 and counting. Minnesota trying to burn a little clock here as they have it in the red zone now. Heels up 21-3, but Minnesota knocking on the door. Play action rollout. Wide open, the tight end, and a nice open field tackle at the 15-yard line by Don Chapman. Kept that to a minimal gain by Span Ford. It ends up gaining 4 to the 14. And I think the Tar Heels may have taken a timeout. They will.
That is their first.
So Carolina takes the timeout. First one the Heels have taken this half. It comes with 57 seconds left. And Minnesota now facing a 2nd and 6 at the Carolina 14-yard line. So the Tar Heels have had the ball 6 times so far. They have 3 touchdowns, a punt, and 2 interceptions, including one that came relatively deep in Minnesota territory. The Tar Heel defense has done a really nice job to this point. Minnesota has 155 yards of total offense, had a short field at one point after a turnover that the Tar Heels forced them into a field goal, but this has been the best advancement for the Minnesota offense. They've come off their own 25 to the Carolina 14 in just 4 plays plus a penalty. And Minnesota looking at a 2nd and 6, down 21-3. But trying to get on the scoreboard before halftime or get some more points on the scoreboard before halftime and get the ball to start the second half. Callie McManus has now 3 straight completions after he had missed 8 in a row. But he has been on point in this drive, helping the Gophers get into the red zone. They're going right to left. Ball on the near hash at the Tar Heel 14-yard line. They put 1:10 on the clock, so they added about 13 seconds back onto the clock there. As Callie McManus is under center for the 2nd down snap. He'll keep it on the ground, and a nice job filling the gap by Cedric Gray for the tackle for a gain of just 1. And
North Carolina.
Another timeout taken by the Tar Heels. So they want to get the football here, potentially after this Minnesota drive.
Well, I think it's more you want to make sure that you're organized and get the right call in for 3rd down, because this is a big 3rd down play.
Yeah, and while we wait, let's break 10 seconds for station ID. 1:05 on the clock. Tar Heels up 21-3. Minnesota, though, facing a 3rd and 4 at the Carolina 13, let's make it 12-yard line for the Gophers. That's coming up after this 10-second break on the Tar Heel Sports Network. Jones and Bryan here with you in Kenan Stadium. That North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard reading 21-3 Tar Heels. Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter. You've heard from Dave Nathan. He'll take you through the Wells Fargo halftime show coming up. Matt Krause, our spotter and statistician. Ben Alexander, chief network engineer. John Essick in the Tar Heel Sports Network studio. 3rd and 4. Minnesota going off the Tar Heel 12. Near hash as they go right to left. A late sub coming in for the Gophers is Corey Crooms. They didn't have enough players on the field. Now everybody's set. Big 3rd down here. Callie McManus, play action. Dropping back, heavy pressure on the way. Just slings it up and incomplete. And a late flag comes in. Gio Biggers came in and just crushed the Minnesota receiver before the ball got there. That ball was getting thrown away.
Yeah. I mean, if Biggers sees the ball, if he has some awareness, he catches that and goes the other way with it. I mean, that's a pass interference.
Pass interference.
Yeah.
Defense. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul and an automatic 1st down.
Just a huge mistake there. Callie McManus was just trying to throw the ball away. And then Biggers just trucked.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Right into the intended receiver, Daniel Jackson, I believe, for Minnesota.
I mean, because the receiver never sees the ball, and if Biggers has some awareness and plays the football, he has a great opportunity to get 6 and go the other way.
Yeah, just a brutal penalty there as it gives Minnesota a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. 58 seconds to go. Under center, Callie McManus has Taylor behind him. He'll turn and hand to the freshman. He cuts back and doesn't quite get there. He's stopped at the 2 by Kamen Rucker back in after the injury earlier in the half. Minnesota going quickly. 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. They'll hand off, and no signal yet. I think it's going to be, a late touch. Here we go. Arms in the air. It's a touchdown for the Gophers.
It's a touchdown.
So that was a late call as the officials came in to unpile the bodies. And the Tar Heel defense, which had been quality the whole first half, has 2 pass interference penalties on the drive, including a real head-scratcher by Gio Biggers. That aids Minnesota in getting to the end zone for the first time today. A 2-yard touchdown run by Darius Taylor.
Yeah, and give Minnesota offense a lot of credit. They came out and threw the football, even though they had struggled thus far prior to this drive, and was able to put plays together to score a touchdown.
Yeah, Callie McManus 3 for 3 on the drive after being 4 of 15 before that. But again, the penalties.
Yep.
As the extra point is good. That was the real problem there, particularly the second
on 3rd down in that tight red zone. You can't have those.
So the extra point good. It's now 21-10. There's 30 seconds left. The drive, 7 plays, 75 yards, 153. Taylor, his 2nd touchdown of the season, comes from 2 yards out. And again, the biggest part of that, as we documented a couple times there, is that Minnesota is scheduled to get the ball to start the second half. So Carolina with 1 timeout and 30 seconds. We'll see how aggressive the Tar Heels want to be. This has been a long second quarter. This will be the 5th possession of the quarter for the Tar Heels, who lead at 21-10, but Minnesota getting in the end zone and getting a little momentum here with 30 seconds to go before the break. Waiting for the kickoff from Kesich. Big left-footed kicker, boots it away, and a no-doubter again on the touchback. Kesich had come into this game with 78% of his kickoffs going for touchbacks. Every one has gone into the end zone thus far today. So 25-yard line going left to right, ball on the near hash. 30 seconds and 1 timeout. That's the situation for the Tar Heels, who lead at 21-10. They're certainly not coming out in any kind of conservative formation. 2 receivers to either side. British Brooks standing to the right of Drake May. Going to be a draw to Brooks. Has to avoid traffic in the backfield, go to the left side, and just work to get a yard in total. Neither team, even though they each have timeouts, neither appears to want to use them. And that is going to end the first half. Clock is down to 5 seconds right now, and they will just head to the locker room. So the Tar Heels certainly happy with their position, up 21-10, but a couple of turnovers, including one, it looked like a drive that was destined for points, and allowing the touchdown late has this one still in question. Tar Heels 21, Minnesota 10. As we go to the Wells Fargo halftime show, Lee is going to chat with Coach Brown after he talks to the television folks. So we'll keep it here for just a second. Drake May, 287 yards passing in the first half. 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions, including one that was a throw that you don't normally see Drake make, just as far as the ill-advised opportunity. And then that key penalty by Gio Biggers getting the pass interference helped Minnesota score. Let's go down to Lee. Well, maybe. Coach Brown was about to walk away. Now he's okay. Now we're ready. Here you go, Lee.
287 yards, Offense, 10 catches by Nate McCollum.
Yeah, we've done a good job. We couldn't afford the 2 turnovers, but they only got 3 points out of those, and we've gotten 2 touchdown passes as well. Love the offense going to score up for the half. Tough on the defense. They picked on our corners. We had a couple of PIs that we couldn't afford, so got to really play well coming out to start the second half.
A hot afternoon. You hope you have advantage over Minnesota.
Yeah, we got to stay on the field.
Very good. Thank you, Coach Mack Brown. Back upstairs, Jones.
Thanks, Lee. We're going to head to halftime. Wells Fargo halftime report with that North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard saying Heels 21, Gophers 10. Stay put. Dave will take you through halftime after this from Learfield. I'll finish up the Wells Fargo halftime show. Tar Heels 21, Minnesota 10. Gophers going to get the football to start the second half. Let's get to the trusted choice of the game, brought to you by the Trusted Choice Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina, who want you to stay safe behind the wheel. Put down your phone while driving, and let's have a hands-free NC. To learn more and find an agent near you, visit trustedchoice.com/Go Heels. Brian, what's in your mind something that the Tar Heels going to need to trust and that you feel like will be important here in the second half?
Well, I think speaking offensively, they have to continue to be patient with the run game and try to get something going. Obviously, we've been productive with the passing game, but I know Carolina wants to get the run game going to save Drake May a little bit and also to eat up a little bit of clock and continue with this advantage that we have with time of possession.
Yeah, time of possession, 17:52 for Carolina, 12:08 for Minnesota, but the Heels have just 34 yards rushing on 20 attempts. It's less than 2 yards per carry in the first half. They, of course, do have 287 yards passing, so they've been able to move the ball through the air. But as Brian referenced, especially as this has become a pretty hot day in Kenan Stadium, they'd love to see if they could wear down that Minnesota defense some, but it's going to be the Tar Heel defense out there first. Couple quick notes on Drake May. Mentioned he had moved into 6th all-time in touchdown passes at Carolina. He's also 6th all-time now in passing yards. He passed Ronald Curry in that first half. Drake now 5,174 career passing yards. Kickoff off the foot of Liam Boyd. Boy, good one. All the way through the end zone. It'll be another touchback. Minnesota starts at the 25-yard line. So Minnesota finished with just 162 yards of offense in that first half, but 75 of them came on the last drive. Now, a couple of those were via penalty, but the point of that is that Minnesota really didn't move the football much in the first half until the end. They attacked Carolina's corners. You heard Mack Brown say that going into the locker room. We'll see if they try to do that some more here on the first possession of the half. They're moving left to right. Ball on the far hash at the 25 after the touchback. Under center, Callie McManus will keep it on the ground. Cutting back after starting to the near side is Taylor. And Power Eccles, Cedric Gray, a couple other Tar Heels. I think Huzzy was in the mix. All of them there to take down Taylor after a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Yeah, in Carolina overall, you can't complain about the first half, but it was turnovers and penalties that put up 10 points for Minnesota.
That's right, an interception by May that gave Minnesota the ball in the Tar Heels 16. They ended up kicking a field goal on that one, and then that final drive, 2 big pass interference calls against the Tar Heels aided in Minnesota hitting the end zone. You're going to run it. Taylor again, right side, and he has the first down. Don Chapman came up from the safety spot to make the hit, but not before Taylor got some good yardage for the first down. And now Stick Lane, the transfer from Georgia State, is coming in. Chapman kind of dangling that right arm by his side, is going to go to the sideline. That was a gain on the play of 8 on the run. So Minnesota first down, 21-10 Tar Heels. Gophers have it at the 36-yard line. Ball between the hashes. Callie McManus in the shotgun. He will hand off out of that shotgun to Taylor for a couple. 3 yards to the 39. Ced Gray with the tackle. Let's check in with Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
Yeah, Don Chapman is bent over. He's slinging his right arm. Trainers are looking at him. He's trying to get that sorted out, figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, injury issues continue in the secondary. Maury Chapman, the transfer from Virginia Tech, is now one of the cornerbacks opposite Marcus Allen. It looks like Tayon Holloway is getting taken to the second team here, and also it's good to see Kamen Rucker out there after that scary injury in the second quarter.
Tar Heels actually have 5 men on the line of scrimmage. Now, Rucker kicks out. He's actually playing out on the edge as Gaynor on the attempt chasing Callie McManus, who dumps it off in the flat left side to Sean Tyler and is able to get positive yards. So Amari Gaynor was charging in, but that left Sean Tyler wide open. Callie McManus with the dump off and a gain of 13 for the first down.
Yeah, and that's about the third time that Minnesota has had production with that bootleg play. Carolina just has to they have their eyes in the backfield because they're too run oriented and thinking. Right now, Minnesota's doing a good job of getting the quarterback out on the perimeter.
It's going to be a play action and a throw and a completion over the middle deep into Tar Heel territory, as Brockington on the slant got inside Chapman, and a gain of 18 to the 29-yard line. So now, Minnesota kind of quietly here, a touchdown here, and it is a one-score game.
Absolutely.
This is the 6th play of the drive. They've gone off their own 25 to the Tar Heel 29. And it's been relatively easy on this drive thus far. Callie McManus in the shotgun. It's a fresh set of downs for them. It will be a handoff, and the Tar Heels close that up as Cedric Gray eats up Tyler as he tried to go over right guard. Half a yard at best. We'll call it 2nd and 10 for the Gophers. First drive of the second half. Minnesota going left to right on the far hash. Tar Heels 21, Minnesota 10. Tar Heels led 21-3 right before half, but Minnesota scored with just 30 seconds left in the first half and gets the ball to start the second half. Play clock down to 10 for Callie McManus. It will be a play action. Has a lot of time to throw. Over the middle. Chapman tips it up in the air. It falls to the ground, incomplete. Chapman got his hand in to poke it away from Daniel Jackson. Chapman's done some good things. He's broken up several passes today. That one popped the ball way up in the air. They're just wanting another Tar Heel that really had a chance to get to it. It will be 3rd and 10.
And plays like that as a defender, that's why it's important to always be moving towards the football once it goes in the air. A good job by Chapman of getting the hand in there and popping it up, giving a fellow teammate an opportunity to make a play.
Callie McManus had completed 5 straight before that one. 3rd and 10. He'll drop back to throw. Tar Heels setting up the pressure. It was a screen from Minnesota. They do complete it in the middle of the line to their tight end Span Ford, but a short gain to the 27, a gain of 2. And now Minnesota 2 of 7 on third downs, and the Gophers are going to send out the field goal unit. This will be a 45-yard kick from almost straight away by Kesich. Kesich has a season and career long of 47. That was a game winner against Nebraska, and we have seen him with a big leg in this game. So distance, one would think, not a problem here. Snap back, spot down. Kick is away, and it's good. So Minnesota settles for 3, but does make that payoff at the end of the first half, beginning of the second half. They get a touchdown at the end of the first half, and now a field goal here to make it 21-13. 9 plays, 48 yards, 4:38 off the clock. Tar Heels will have the football for the first time this half. After this, their lead's been whittled to 8 from their field. Tar Heels 21, Minnesota 13, but the Golden Gophers have scored the last 10 points of this game to take it from an 18-point deficit to down just 8. 10:22 to go in the third quarter. In fact, Minnesota 210 total yards, 123 of them have come on their last 2 drives. Our coverage today presented by Serve Pro of South Durham and Orange County. They've collected school supplies for students across the Triangle. Thank you to Serve Pro for teaming up with Carolina football for this worthy cause. Serve Pro, proud partner of Carolina athletics. Brian, goes without saying that Tar Heels would like to do something positive here on this offensive drive. Feels like due to that end of first half, beginning of second half transition for the Minnesota offense and their success.
Yeah.
Feels like it's been a while since Carolina's had an opportunity with the football.
Yeah, and also Minnesota's starting to feel like they can move the football offensively. They've struggled to put the ball. Obviously, they got the touchdown right before the half, but Minnesota the last couple games have struggled in the red zone. So Carolina, that's why it's important to get off the field on third down. You keep people out of the end zone and you force field goal attempt.
All of our reports down to the sideline to Lee, brought to you by the Pinehurst Resort, home of the 2024 U.S. Open. History is made in Pinehurst, one moment at a time. Kickoff from Kesich. Low line drive, twisting kick. Will hop a yard into the end zone for a touchback. So, Tar Heels will start on their own 25. They're going right to left here in this third quarter. Some shade starting to creep onto the field. And over on the far stands, that's the north side. It's been a bright, sunny, warm day here in Kenan Stadium. Tar Heels have never trailed in this game, led by as many as 18. It's down to 8, though. 21-13, 10:22 to go in the third quarter as the Tar Heels start their first drive in the second half. 4 receivers in the formation. May, straight drop back out of the shotgun, finds McCollum yet again. McCollum, who had 11 catches and 130 yards in the first half, both career highs, makes the grab and is shoved out of bounds at the 36, a gain of 11, and a quick first down.
Yeah, right now you feel like McCollum could actually catch the football on every play if they wanted to throw it to him.
Tar Heels going to throw again. May rolling out to the right. Long throw to the far sideline. That's J.J. Jones with the catch. Spins and pushed out of bounds at the 44. Will be a gain of 8 for the Tar Heels. So back-to-back passes to start the half for Carolina. The Heels ran for just 34 yards on 20 tries in half number 1. They came in averaging 243.5 yards per game on the ground through the first 2 weeks. May in the shotgun. It's going to be a jet sweep. Coming to the near side, McCollum tries to cut up the field and is stuffed. Well, he keeps still fighting. McCollum is going to get the first down out of all that. He got hit at the 45. Looked like he was going to be short, but he just wouldn't go down. He only gains 2, but it is the first down.
Yeah, good tough running by the receiver on the jet sweep.
Really hard work there by McCollum, who has been all over the place today. May now over 300 yards passing. It's at 308 with 2 touchdowns. Also has 2 interceptions today. Shotgun snap. Minnesota rushes 4. Pressure coming from the backside. May tripped up from behind. Nice job by Danny Strigo. As it looked like May was going to be able to run away from the redshirt junior. But Strigo, an honorable mention all-conference performer a year ago, able to just get enough of May's foot and get the sack back at the 41.
Great effort by the defender for Minnesota. Drake May keeping his eyes downfield, waiting for a receiver to pop open as he does a lot of times when he extends plays.
All right, so it's 2nd and 15 on Minnesota's second sack of the day. May, a little shovel pass up the middle. Nice job by Minnesota reading it. Kyler Ball, though that pile's still moving. It's going to be eventually forward progress stopping at the 45. So the Tar Heels gain 4 in total on the play. A little shovel pass to Hampton. It's going to be third down. Tar Heels have been very good on third down today, 7 of 9, but this is 3rd and long. They've already snapped it. May looking down the right sideline, pump fake. Now he's going to throw. Has a man there, stretching but not able to bring it in, is Andre Green. Trayvon Jones, the Elon transfer, defending on the play. It was a good effort by Green, but just couldn't quite bring it in. And the Tar Heels, for just the second time today, are going to have to punt. The sack on first down by Strigo pushed the Tar Heels behind the chains. And eventually they'll have to kick it away. First time this year that Carolina has not scored a touchdown on the opening drive of the second half. And now all the momentum in this game has flipped over to the visitors as Minnesota has scored 10 points on its last 2 drives, gets the stop. Kiernan punts it away. Fair catch called for it and made right around the 12 or the 13-yard line by the Minnesota returner, Quentin Redding. It's a 43-yard punt. So big sequence coming up. Tar Heels up by just one score, 21-13, with 7:56 to go third quarter. Minnesota will start at its own 13-yard line after this from Learfield.
All the action, all season long. You're listening to Tar Heel Football.
7 minutes and 56 seconds to go, quarter number 3. Tar Heels 21, Minnesota 13. The Golden Gophers will have the football after forcing the Tar Heels to punt after a 6-play drive, needing a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game. Tar Heel football on the Tar Heel Sports Network, brought to you in part by Modelo, proud to sponsor Carolina football, an official beer of the Tar Heels. Some finals from earlier today in ACC action on the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Louisville beats Indiana 21-14. Florida State holds on the road against BC 31-29. Wake Forest come from behind. They were down multiple scores against Old Dominion in Norfolk and ends up winning at 27-24. State no problem today with VMI in Raleigh. One-sided affair there. The final score 45-7. The Wolfpack get the win there. There are a couple other games going on. Duke leads Northwestern in Durham 31-7. And Rutgers on top of Virginia Tech third quarter 21-3. Here again, 21-13 Carolina. Minnesota, though, with the football. Relatively deep in their own territory, starting at the 13-yard line. This matches the worst starting field position for Minnesota tonight, or this afternoon. Callie McManus, who's starting to play a little better, hands off, a huge gap to the near side. And Taylor pinballing off Tar Heels over the 35. Great effort by Gaynor and Ritzy just to chase him down from behind, or that may have gone all the way. As it is, it's still a 28-yard gain.
Yeah, Gaynor's the one that went too far upfield and allowed the running back to go underneath him for the pickup, to get the space to pick up the big play, but great effort by him to save the play.
Tar Heels looked like even after the sizable gain, they had Taylor done at about the 25 or 30, and he just kept bouncing off tacklers. Taylor now over 100 yards rushing. And they'll give it to Tyler this time, the Western Michigan transfer. He does not find the same success left side. Travis Shaw with the stop. The young defensive lineman from Greensboro stops it for a 2-yard gain. So Taylor now 109 yards. Minnesota as a team has 122 on the ground. That's back-to-back weeks now that Taylor's gone over 100. He had 193 last week against Eastern Michigan. Clock moving, 6:45 third quarter. Heels up 21-13, but Minnesota with the momentum. Gophers going left to right. Callie McManus comes up, says something to the O-line. Play clock at 8. Crooms goes in motion. It will be a handoff. And a big tackle. Carolina shutting the door on Tyler. Cedric Gray fires around the left side of that Tar Heel defensive front for the big hit. It'll be third and long.
Yes, sir. If you're going to play linebacker position, this is how you should feel the whole. Cedric Gray sees it, gets it, and makes it an explosive tackle.
3rd and 8. Tar Heels trying to get the ball back. Minnesota 2 of 7 on third down. 2 receivers to the left. That's the open side of the field as they go left to right. They'll send Crooms in motion from right to left. So now 3 receivers over there. Callie McManus. Play clock at 4. Gets the snap. Pressure coming. Callie McManus steps out of the pocket. He's going to run and have the first down. Dives over the Tar Heel 45. The middle portion of the field just open wide for Callie McManus. And he's able to scramble to move the chains. 15-yard gain to the Tar Heel 44-yard line. So that'll officially be a 13-yard gain, I believe. For Callie McManus, it will. Doesn't matter. Still first down.
Yeah, got to have more discipline in your pass rush. You can't just get widened like that. You got to continue to push and stay in front of the quarterback, especially if you're from the 1 or the 3 technique.
Minnesota trying to find points on 3 straight possessions. Tar Heels were once up 21-3. It's now 21-13. There'll be a play action. Callie McManus going to float it deep over the middle. He has a man open, but he short arms the throw. As his man, Brockington, was there, but the throw just floated on Callie McManus Comes up a couple yards shy. Tar Heels dodge a bullet, second down.
Yeah, and I think he felt a little pressure. Carolina was getting close to him, but the pocket was clean, and he felt the pressure, and that caused him to short arm it.
Looks like Minnesota's put in a new quarterback. Cole Kramer has come in on this play. So Kramer, a fifth-year senior, has come in to play quarterback. And he's going to hand off, pushing the pile for positive yards for Minnesota to the 39-yard line was Taylor. I don't know if Callie McManus is shaken up.
He was limping off, so I'm not sure if it was a cramp or...
It's going to be 3rd and 5. Minnesota converted a 3rd and 7 earlier in this drive. Tar Heels will bring on Gaynor, take out Amari Chapman. Atkinson, Shaw, Ritzy, Rucker, Gaynor, Eccles, Gray.
Look for Minnesota to move the pocket.
That's the front seven for Carolina. It's the backup QB Kramer in there. He gets the snap. Pressure coming his way. Avoids the first man. Tries to scramble. He is going to be knocked down just shy at the 35-yard line of the first down. Stick Lane, the transfer from Georgia State, the first man there. And Minnesota is going to keep the offense on the field.
Yep, bring in an extra lineman and a tight end. They'll go jumbo package.
They're at the Tar Heel 35. They need the 34 for the first down.
Minnesota go unbalanced to their left.
Tar Heels have too many men on the field. Hester gets off. It'll be a shotgun handoff to Taylor. He leaps and has the first down. He gains 2. They needed 1. So the drive continues. So Minnesota's converted a 3rd down and a 4th down in this drive. Gophers closing that time of possession gap that the Tar Heels enjoyed a sizable advantage in the first half. It has been almost all Minnesota ball in this third quarter.
Yep.
Clock at 3:10 and counting. Tar Heels 21, Minnesota 13. Ball on the near hash as the Gophers go from left to right. It is still Kramer, the fifth-year senior backup quarterback, who is in the game for the Gophers. He'll get the snap. Pressure comes. Hit as he is throwing. He just lofts it up, and it's intercepted. Intercepted in the end zone. Armani Chapman, the Virginia Tech transfer, gets his first takeaway of the Tar Heels.
Yeah, good pressure up front by Dez Evans. And this is what you have to do with this type of offense. You have to stay locked in mentally, understanding that they're going to run the ball, but you just keep making them snap the football, because once they throw the ball, you're going to have an opportunity to make some plays. And then Carolina was able to come down with a big play to get the defense off the field, and hopefully the offense can get back in the groove.
For Chapman, his first interception as a Tar Heel, the third of his college career. 2:52 to go into the third quarter. Tar Heels will have it on the 20 after the interception in the end zone. After this, Carolina with the football up 8 from Learfield.
Two minutes and 52 seconds to play in the third quarter from Chapel Hill. Carolina maintains an 8-point lead on Minnesota, 21-13. Dave Nathan back here at the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Helping you is what they do best. Duke with the lead on Northwestern, 31-7 early on in the fourth quarter, and Rutgers 21, Virginia Tech 3. That's in the late third, but the one that a lot of people might be curious about, Georgia and South Carolina, with 4:30 to play in the third quarter. The Bulldogs now have the lead on the Gamecocks, but it's just 17-14, number one team in the country with a real battle on its hands.
Dave, it's been a good one here as well. Carolina's been in control, but Minnesota scrapping back. It's 21-13 Tar Heels, 2:52 to go third quarter. Brian, that time of possession now, Minnesota, after Carolina had a sizable lead in that category first half, Minnesota's now had the ball more than the Tar Heels. 21 minutes and 50 seconds for Minnesota, 20-18 for Carolina. and it's because of this third quarter. Minnesota's had the ball 9 minutes and 42 seconds. Tar Heels just 2:26. All of that to say, Carolina would like, they're going to take points regardless.
Right.
They'd take it right now on one play, but they'd love a sustained drive if they could get one.
Absolutely, I agree. And for no other reason, let your defense sit over there and grab a couple Gatorade, get a little bit of oxygen, because when you're playing an offense like that that's continually running the football, it takes a lot out of you, even if you're playing solid against the run.
There have been 4 total turnovers in this game. May throwing, and he had a man, McCollum, open and just missed him. A rare, poor throw from May, who's had a couple that have looked weird. That one almost fluttered out of his hands as McCollum was angling from the field from right to left. Had that been on the money, he catches it at the 45 of the target. He might have gone. He was that open, but the throw, not what the Heels wanted.
Yeah, and the throw was errant just because of his feet and the pressure to force May to be erratic in the pocket with his feet, and he didn't settle down.
Quick throw, a strike to the 25, caught. It is McCollum again. He'll fall forward to the 26, so it's a gain of 6, but it brings up a 3rd and 4. Tar Heels trying to avoid a quick 3 and out after getting the turnover. They have already snapped it. May's throw right there to Nesbitt. First down at the 35. Shucks off one tackler and comes down the near sideline before Jack Henderson takes him down at the 38. Carolina now 8 of 11 on 3rd down.
Injury timeout.
There's an injury timeout. I didn't see who was injured. Oh, there's a gopher on the near sideline. He's being blocked by the Tar Heels sideline. I think it is Jack Henderson, the man who made the tackle, and he is shaken up. So the gain was of 12 to Nesbitt for the first down.
Yeah, Jones, I think it's just double calf cramps.
Some of these receiving numbers. McCollum, 14 catches, 148 yards, and a touchdown. Both of those numbers career highs, the catches and the yards. Nesbitt, 3 grabs for 46. Morales, 2 catches, 64 yards. Jones, 2 catches, 47. Hampton, a couple catches for 21 yards. Pacor has a grab for 4 yards. So May at 330 yards, 24 of 31, 2 touchdowns. Does have the 2 interceptions, though. For May, it's the 8th time in his career and first time this season that he has gone over 300 yards passing. His career high is still a ways away. He had 448 at Wake Forest last year. Good to see Henderson is up. They were working on his calves, as Brian alluded to, as if it was a cramp issue. So he is walking off. Good to see that. As Carolina will have a 1st and 10. And speaking of McCollum, the most catches for a Tar Heel since Mac Brown returned is Josh Downs. He had 15 in a game last year at Virginia. So McCollum already has 14 today. 2:13 and counting in the 3rd quarter. Heels up 21-13. They'll be in the pistol. May fakes the handoff to British Brooks. Time to throw. Rips it over the middle. Blackwell there. Has it into Minnesota territory at the 25. And now Blackwell is shaken up as he is very slow to get up. He caught that one in front of Gooseby, the safety that the Tar Heels have taken advantage of a couple times. It's a 37-yard gain.
And I think Blackwell landed on the turf head first, so I think he's a little woozy right now, shaking up. Looks a little uneasy on his feet.
He will be helped off the field. Blackwell, the redshirt sophomore from Indian Trail, North Carolina, was a former high school teammate of Sam Howell. Congrats to Sam, by the way. He and the Commanders picking up a win last week in Week 1 against Arizona. Wasn't real pretty, but hey, it counts. Hey, win's a win. Here, Tar Heels trying for win number 3, and they've got to fight. They're up 21-13 with 1:51 to go 3rd quarter. They have it now, the Minnesota 24, though, after that play. Another play action out of the pistol. May rolling out to the right, and he will just throw it away. Got out of the pocket, so he could just, well, now a late flag comes in. He was out of the pocket, so that he should be able to just throw it away.
There's no foul for downfield. The ball was thrown away. 2nd down.
Okay, so it is 2nd down. And 10 from the Minnesota 24. Incompletion stops the clock with 1:41 to go. 3rd quarter. Tar Heels have led by as many as 18, currently up 8. 21-13. Minnesota has scored the last 10 points in this game. The Tar Heel record, by the way, for catches in a game is 16. McCollum's already at 14. 1:41 to go in the third quarter. Tar Heels will throw again. May going to the left side of the end zone, a little too tall for Paysour. Good defense by Trayvon Jones. Brian, I think Carolina has not run the ball one time this half. There's been a sack, but every play has been a pass play in this half for the Tar Heels. 1:36 to go, third quarter. 3rd and 10 off the Minnesota 24. This would be about a 41-yard kick if Carolina has to settle for a field goal. Don't gain any yards. 2 receivers to either side. Tar Heels going right to left. Ball on the near hash with a 21-13 lead. Shotgun snap to May. Time to throw. Going right back to the left side, and again too tall. This time it was McCollum. And it will be incomplete. And the Tar Heels going to have to try a field goal. So Noah Burnett, the kicker last season, 15 of 21, but finished just 5 of his last 9. This will be a 42-yard kick. He was 5 of 5 from between 40 and 49 yards a season ago. This ball just about off the left hash with 1:31 to go in the third quarter. Snap back, spot down. Burnett's kick is up, and it's good. So Burnett, the junior from Raleigh out of Leesville Road, adds 3 on the scoreboard for the Tar Heels. Makes it 24-13. Let's take a 10-second station ID break as we get the particulars on that drive. Tar Heels now up by 11 on the Tar Heels Sports Network.
North Carolina's 26 electric cooperatives recognize the best classroom projects and the teachers who create them through the Bright Ideas Education Grant Program. These grants
All right, back here in Kenan Stadium, 1:26 to go, third quarter. Tar Heels, after Burnett's field goal, an All-State Good Hands field goal, by the way. Brought to you by Allstate. They'll contribute to the Tar Heel General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Now up 24-13. It's an 8-play, 56-yard drive, just a minute 26 off the clock. And the 42-yard field goal by Burnett.
And that was a big drive by Carolina offensively. Good job, Burnett, by capping it, putting Carolina up again by 2 scores.
Brian, it will be a touchback on the kickoff. And by the way, just mentioning, I mean, again, Tar Heels have not run the ball once this half. 11 passes, there's been a sack, a punt, and a field goal have been the plays from scrimmage from the Tar Heels. Let's check in with Lee Pace, our Pinehurst Resort sideline reporter.
Gavin Blackwell went to the trainer's tent with that head injury. It looked like we've also not seen anything of Don Chapman, Jones. And look out and see those DB. Well, Don Chapman is back. He missed that last series. I looked at the 5 DBs. Only Gio Biggers was a holdover from last year's team at the end of the season with 3 transfers in that secondary.
Minnesota going to try a jet sweep on the first play. Taylor dancing around the corner left side. Gets good yards. Callie McManus is back in for Minnesota at the QB spot. The first down play on the jet sweep gains 10. It'll be a first down for the Gophers. So they're at their own 35 as the sun mercifully is hidden behind a cloud for a second. This has become a very warm day in Kenan, although the Tar Heels don't mind it. Currently up 24-13. Callie McManus, 1st and 10 from their own 35, going left to right, under a minute to go in the third quarter. Will hand off again to Taylor. Cuts it up, and he stood up after a gain of 4. Several Tar Heels there, including Will Hardy, sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia, who Carolina hopes can work its way into some more action. He was banged up, didn't see much time in the preseason, has started to see some snaps. He played 9 last week, but they're trying to get him back into the mix.
Yeah, and I think at the end of last year, they were very happy with his performance. And like you said, injuries in the preseason slowed it down, but it's good to see him back out.
15 seconds left in the third quarter. 2nd and 6 for Minnesota. It'll be a play action, and the throw is caught on the near side by Crooms. Chapman took an odd angle on it. He was looking for a pick.
That's a dangerous angle.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to try and cut on the inside and get the interception was his goal, but that didn't occur. So then he had to catch up and shove out Crooms at the 44-yard line of the Tar Heels. So it's a gain of 17, and it will be the final play of the third quarter. Tar Heels 24, Minnesota 13 going to the fourth. Gophers will have a 1st and 10 on the Tar Heel 44 after this from Learfield. Through 3 quarters in Chapel Hill. Tar Heels 24, Minnesota 13. But the Gophers have it on the Tar Heel side of the 50. They'll have 1st and 10 at the Carolina 44. Let's look at the Lenovo stats. Lenovo, a global technology leader that has called North Carolina home since 2005. Visit Lenovo.com. Lenovo, smarter technology for all. And Carolina, 397 yards of offense, 368 in the air, just 29 on the ground. Minnesota at 294, 161 rushing, 133 passing. Third downs have been a big deal. Carolina 8 of 12 in that category, but just 1 of 3 in this half. Minnesota is 3 of 9 on third downs. Been telling you about time of possession. Minnesota now has the advantage there, 23-16 to 21-44. And that is because in the third quarter, Minnesota held ball for 11 minutes and 8 seconds. Carolina just 352. Gophers had 132 yards of offense. Carolina just 76. Each team had the ball twice in that quarter. Tar Heels ended up with a field goal and a punt. Minnesota ended up with a field goal and an interception on its 2 offensive drives. So Gophers have it. Quick reminder that Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina is the official health insurance partner of Carolina Athletics. Believes an inclusive community is a healthy community. Here for the Tar Heels, here for all. So Minnesota now going right to left in the fourth quarter here in Chapel Hill. Ball on the far hash at the Tar Heel 44. It will be a run, and Tamari Fox and Power Eccles swing down Taylor for no gain on the play. Maybe a yard. We'll call it 1, and it's 2nd and 9.
Carolina needs a big physical stance here, right here for the defense. See if we can stop the run, get them the third down, and then bring pressure to get off the field.
Kalik Manis in the shotgun this time. Taylor to his left, standing in the NC logo at midfield. It'll be a play action and a throw out of the shotgun for Kalik Manis, just off the mark. Had Crooms in between a couple of Tar Heel defenders, Hardy the safety and Chapman the corner, so it was going to take a really accurate throw, and it was not one. 3rd down and 9 for Minnesota. Gophers are 3 of 9 on 3rd down.
See if Carolina, great down and distance right now, great position on the field to bring pressure. See if they decide to bring pressure.
Have just 3 down linemen do the Tar Heels. Play clock at 6. Tar Heels rush just 3 on the play. Kalik Manis throw is knocked down, almost intercepted. Don Chapman flashed in front at the 35 and knocked it down. So no dice for the Minnesota offense. I was waiting to see, are they ready to get really aggressive? No, they're going to bring out the punt unit.
Yeah, too far. Great job by Carolina dropping 8 defenders. Don Chapman loved to have that opportunity again.
I mean, Tar Heels have picked off 2, and you feel like they've been close to 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, that should have been 1. If he can come down with that one, he has a chance to land and get to the end zone.
Pooch punt end over end is fair caught at the 9 by Huzzy, and they say the 10.
That's a good drive by Carolina defensively.
So that's just a 33-yard punt. Tar Heels will take over at the 10-yard line, and they'll do it after this timeout. So Carolina 24, Minnesota 13. Tar Heels will have the football 14:07 to go, fourth quarter from Learfield.
All the action, all season long. You're listening to Tar Heel Football.
14:07 to go, fourth quarter. Carolina 24, Minnesota 13. But Tar Heels will have their worst starting field position of the day, starting on their own 10-yard line. A reminder, you can sync up our radio broadcast if you're watching the game from TV or on TV from the comfort of your home. SyncMyGame.com. Easy instructions on how to do it. Sync My Game. SYNC mygame.com to learn how. So Tar Heels, 397 yards of offense, but they have not run the football once in this half.
This will be a good place to start.
We'll see as they're going off their own 10-yard line. Kind of a mini ACC Big Ten challenge this weekend. Maryland beat Virginia Friday night 42-14. Louisville beat Indiana earlier today. Duke had a big lead over Northwestern last check. Rutgers a big lead over Virginia Tech at the last check. Tar Heels in Minnesota here today, and then Syracuse and Purdue later tonight. So a lot of ACC Big Ten matchups going on. Tar Heels trying to hold on here in the fourth. They've led by as many as 18, currently up 11, 24-13. It'll be Hampton in the game, but it is another throw from May. Gets out of the pocket, coming to the near side. May keeping his eyes down the field, slings it. J.J. Jones, oh, what a catch. Kept his feet down and brings it in over the 25 for the first down.
Yeah, good job by Drake May, and that's the problem that he causes for defense. He stresses them out so much because he can keep the ball and run and be productive, and he also can throw the ball and be very accurate on the move.
A slice of sunshine in May's face. For the first time this half, the Tar Heels will run it with Hampton, and he doesn't get anything. Maybe that's why they haven't been running, right? Yep. That is their 22nd carry for just 29 yards on the ground. Minnesota came in holding teams to 131 yards per game on the ground. That's a good number. They've been even better than that tonight.
They've been outstanding tonight, and it started up front, and it's also started with the tackling.
So 2nd and 10 after no gain there. May to throw, pressure on the way. May gets out of the pocket. A flag comes in. That's probably going to be a hold as May's throw is incomplete down the far sideline. That flag came in the obvious area of a hold.
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That'll be on Montelis. Moves the ball back to the 17. So we have not seen Willie Lampkin today. That 5 up front from left to right of Pounds, Montelis, Gaynor, Barnes, and Rollin has gone the whole way.
Yeah, and I do think the offense play calling could help Drake man this offensive line out a little bit because they're unable to run the football, do some screens, some quick passing games that supplement the run game instead of asking your offensive line to pass block a very steady and heavy-handed Minnesota defensive line.
Nesbitt comes in motion. May will play action to Brooks. He'll sidearm it to Nesbitt in the flat, but another great open field tackle by Jack Henderson. This Minnesota defense has been on point with their tackling today. Henderson, the leading tackler for Minnesota, plus he has an interception today. No gain on that play. It'll be 3rd and 20. Tar Heels 8 of 12 on 3rd down, but this one is 3rd and a country mile. May. Time to throw. He's going to dump it off under the middle or over the middle to Brooks. He's able to advance it to the 13. Bryan saw a late receiver, McCollum, break free, but May had already decided to dump it off. Gains 13 on the play, but it was 3rd and 20. And so the Tar Heels will have to punt it away. Good job by the Minnesota defense. Not much time went off the clock.
No.
And the Tar Heels only able to run 4 total plays before punting it.
And Jones, it was Peso on the far sideline, on Minnesota sideline, who was wide open. I know Drake May was getting pressured and couldn't find him, but if he could have seen him, it would have been a touchdown.
Snap back to Kiernan. Minnesota bringing some pressure, and not a great kick by Kiernan.
At all.
As it's very short into the Tar Heel sideline. It's now a late flag comes in. First of all, let's see where the punt. The punt's only to the Tar Heel 48-yard line, so that's a 22-yard punt. But hold on, let's see on the flag. The Tar Heels were pointing to Minnesota.
Yeah, it'd be a personal foul. And you could tell that was a bad punt the way it sounded off his foot.
After the play was over, red ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team number 44.
Oh, my.
15-yard penalty will be added on to the dead ball spot. First down.
So that's on Deuce Caldwell, and that makes that a disastrous play.
A correction. It was on Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
15-yard penalty. First down.
All right, well, that changes things a little. Tyler Stolsky. So the bad punt of just 22 yards to the 48, but then the personal foul will move it
to a real punt.
Yeah, back to the 33-yard line. And that's where Minnesota will take over after this timeout. 12:05 to go. Still 24-13 Carolina from Learfield. Tar Heels have led by as many as 18, currently up 11, 24-13. With 12:05 to go in the fourth quarter, Minnesota will have the football with 3 timeouts. And within 2 scores, they'll start on their own 33. When you're out of town and want to keep up with live college sports, be sure to download the new Varsity Network app, available for both Apple and Android. Listen to college sports live with the Varsity Network app. Learfield, who created that app, does a great job with that. You can get any college broadcasts across the country, including ours. You can get our coaching shows on there, podcasts, Olympic sport coverage, women's basketball, baseball as well. So lots of action on that Varsity Network app. Also, lots of action for this Minnesota offense this half. Brian, time of possession, 12:01 Minnesota, 5:54 Carolina this half.
Yeah, and Carolina, I would think, needs to slow the pace down. Like the pace worked for them in the first half.
Yeah.
But now you have 2 possessions. The clock is starting to wind down. You're unable to run the football. Now I would slow it down, the pace, get you good play calling in, and then just try to concentrate on first downs, and then you can strike once you get in striking distance.
Yeah, Tar Heels have only run the football 1 time the entire second half. Minnesota to go off its own 33, moving from right to left. Play action and a pass off the hands of the intended receiver. Angling into the middle of the field was Charlotte transfer Elijah Spencer, guarded by Armani Chapman. Spencer, he was the Conference USA Freshman of the Year back in 2021 with Charlotte, and then honorable mention All-Conference last season. Saw that one slip through his hands. 2nd and 10. Tar Heels with 4 down linemen. Have a couple reserves out there, including Cowan and Javari Ritzy, along with Hester and Rucker. Minnesota will run. Taylor, good yardage, gets about 8 up the gut. Stick Lane with the hit, but it will bring up a 3rd and manageable 3rd and 2 for Minnesota.
Yeah, Carolina right now has to know the script for Minnesota. If they throw the ball on first down and it's incomplete, it's almost guaranteed they're going to come back on 2nd down and run the football, and that's not unusual for any offense, but especially for Minnesota being the heavy run-oriented offense that they are.
Minnesota just 3 for 10 on 3rd down. Tyler has come in at the running back spot. Callie McManus goes under center. With Tyler behind him, he will, play action, roll out. Cowan chasing and drags him down. Jacoby Cowan gets the sack.
And that's a great play by Cowan. Keep competing all the way through the play. Minnesota's keeping the offense out there on the field.
Yep, they're going to go for it, it appears. First sack of the day. Sack to give back. We'll tell you more about Food Lion and Food Lion Feeds in just a second. But Minnesota going to go for it on 4th down.
They changed their mind.
Oh, now they're going to send the punt unit on. That's the first sack for the Tar Heels since the South Carolina game. Didn't have any last week. That's their first one today. Tar Heels had the defense on the field. They'll keep the defense on the field just in case, and it is a pure punt. Huzzy telling his teammates to get away as it hits at the 18, checks up like a pitching wedge, and is going to be downed around the 23 or the 24-yard line. And that's where the Tar Heels will take over. So that sack, told you a sack to give back. Food Lion Feeds just donated 1,000 meals to feed our neighbors in need in Chapel Hill. Food Lion, proud partner of Carolina football, will donate up to 30,000 meals to our local food bank this season. Cheer on sacks all year long. They are sacks to give back. 37-yard punt. Carolina will start at the 24-yard line with a 24-13 lead And still 10:23 to go in the half. May, play action, pump fake, dancing in the pocket, gets out of trouble, slides down. Ooh, at the 30.
Yeah, that should be a flag.
Came in and hit May as he slid. There is no flag on the field, and I am surprised at that. Maverick Baranowski came in on May, and gracious.
Yeah.
It was actually Henderson.
And he's high.
It was actually Henderson who came in and hit May after the 5-yard scramble. I'm really surprised they didn't throw the flag, and now, I mean, they might check for targeting on this and didn't throw flag.
The previous play is under further review. The potential of a targeting foul.
I got to tell you, this should tell you something about that lack of a flag.
Yep.
Like, they didn't throw the flag on the field, but they're going to check it for targeting. That's how bad of a miss that was on this one. So it will take us to a break. 9:49 to go in the fourth quarter. Carolina up 24-13. It's our first trip under the hood. Take your Tar Heel tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. So 2nd and 5 as it currently stands. We'll check on this replay when we return. 24-13, 9:49 to go from Learfield. 9:35 to go, fourth quarter, 24-13 Carolina, and this review goes the way of the Tar Heels as they deem Nate McCollum did indeed get his right foot and leg down, sliding out of bounds with possession of the football at the Tar Heel 46-yard line. So it's a first down. It's also McCollum's 15th catch of the day for 165 yards. He has a touchdown. That matches the most receptions for a player in Mack Brown's second tenure. It is just one off the all-time record. 3 Tar Heels have it. Charlie Carr against the Air Force in 1966. Quinshad Davis at Virginia in 2012. Ryan Switzer here against Pitt in 2016. All had 16 catches in a game. McCollum with 15. Lee Pace, Tar Heels get the positive answer on that review.
Jones, it's usually just the referee who sticks his face into the DV Sport screen, Riley Johnson in this case. It was interesting that Wayne Rundell is the field judge who made the out-of-bounds call, and he particularly was interested to look at it as well. He came over and kind of hovered behind Riley Johnson, looked at the flag also, and you could tell a little bit of dismay across his face when he saw what it was on there, but there was no question that it was a good call to overturn the call, give the ball to Nate McCollum on the completion.
Tar Heels have Brooks and Hampton in the backfield. May is in the pistol with Hampton behind him. Brooks to his left. Not sure we've seen this year, and it's going to be a swing pass to Hampton left side with Brooks trying to block in front. Hampton gets down the sideline into the secondary over the Minnesota 40. And how about that? Tar Heels put both their big backs in the backfield, swing it to Hampton, and he rockets into Minnesota territory to the 37.
Yeah, now instead of having a receiver out there on the perimeter trying to block, you put a physical running back, and now you're just able to supplement the run again, getting the ball out in Hampton in space right away.
17-yard gain. 8:55 and counting. Each team has all 3 timeouts in the second half. Tar Heels up 24-13. Minnesota brings pressure and knocked away on the attempted pass to McCollum by Jack Henderson. Henderson has been active all day. Did a nice job knocking that one free. Well, it looked like
a little early on that. Yeah.
He had a hand on the shoulder as well, but did a good job with the left hand, flashing it in front. Questionable on where that right hand was, but as it is, incomplete. And that stops the clock. 8:47 to go. Heels going left to right. Ball on the far hash at the 37-yard line. Looking at a 2nd and 10 after that incompletion. May to throw again. Gets out of the pocket left side. May steps through a tackle and is shoved out of bounds shy of the 30. But a good scramble gain of 5 or 6. Devin Williams pushes him out. It'll be 3rd and medium at the 31-yard line. So scramble gain of 6, Brian.
Yeah, Carolina has been snapping the ball usually around 17, 20 seconds. I would love to see this start getting inside the 10-second mark.
Minnesota showing pressure. Carolina eases up. Clock at 8:15, play clock at 14. This is 3rd and 4 at the Minnesota 31-yard line. Here comes that pressure. Tar Heels pick it up. May going to run, has the first down. Cuts back at the 25 and wrapped up around the 20. Maverick Baranowski takes him down, but May's legs get 11, maybe even 12 in a first down.
Yep, Carolina right now offensively have to be really smart. You're in really good field goal position. You can be very conservative here. Continue to milk this clock, see how long you can make these 19 yards go, and if you have to kick a field goal, you'll live with it.
24-13 the score currently. Carolina up by 11. So the ball into the Minnesota red zone at the 19. On the far hash as the Heels go left to right. Play clock down to 10. May in the shotgun has British Brooks to his right. 3 receivers in the formation. But the Heels will keep it on the ground with Brooks and just swallow it up, although that pile gets pushed forward. Ends up gaining 3 yards on the play. Logan Richter, the first gopher with some contact. 2nd and 7. Tar Heels, we've told you, it's been a struggle on the ground. That was their 27th carry for 72 yards. Hampton and May each with 34 to lead the way.
Yeah, Jones, but what I like about it, 27 carries is still a decent number, so they stayed consistent. Even though they had a stretch where they didn't run the football, 27 carries is a good number.
Quick pitch to the near side. British Brooks with a lot of blockers in front, cuts upfield, taken down at the 12 by Ryan Seelig, so it's a gain of 4, and we'll bring up another 3rd down. This is 3rd and 3. Tar Heels need the 9-yard line. By the way, that swing pass to Hampton earlier in this drive when Brooks was blocking, that counted as a run, as it was a backwards pass.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 3rd and 3 on the Minnesota 12. Gracious me. They had a defender in the backfield. Tyler Newbin was trying to time the snap. I'm not sure I've ever seen a player that offside before.
5-yard penalty.
Newbin trying to time the snap. May clapped but didn't receive the ball.
Yep.
And I mean, Newbin was 5 yards into the backfield.
Yeah, May didn't do anything unusual that he hasn't been doing all game. That's just a player trying to gamble, trying to be a hero.
That'll make it 1st and goal at the 7 for the Tar Heels. Still 24-13. Clock moving, 6:10 to go. Minnesota does have 3 timeouts.
Let's run this. Let's run it.
Yeah, Brooks is the back, and he will get the football. Over the 5, keeping his feet. Brooks
touchdown.
Inside the 1. It will be 2nd and goal from short yardage.
Slow down. I don't know why we're in
Tar
such a
Heels are
rush.
hustling up to the line of scrimmage. May sneaks it, and he is, well, I thought he was in. The ball has actually come out.
So the ball was loose.
The ball actually came out into the hands of Morales, who got into the end zone, but the officials say that forward progress was stopped. I thought forward progress had gotten May into the end zone.
But either way, Jones, I don't understand why we're rushing up. Let's see how long we can let this 1 yard last. No need to rush.
Minnesota's going to bring in 3 new defenders. Play clock is down.
Carolina need to get going.
Yeah, play clock's down to 5 seconds. 3 seconds as May goes under center. Little inside handoff to British Brooks. Leaps over the defender and hits Pater for 6. Tar Heels, when they needed an impressive drive, they absolutely get it. 11 plays, 76 yards. Almost 5.5 minutes off the clock.
Yep, and that's the play that'll get the Minnesota fans headed toward the exit.
It's 30-13. Burnett to try and add the extra point. Touchdown comes at 5 minutes to go. British Brooks, his first touchdown of the year, 6th of his Tar Heel career. Good pressure off the edge by Minnesota, but Burnett coolly kicks it through. And that makes it 31-13 with that even 5 minutes to go. Tar Heels now up to 497 yards passing. May, by the way, is over 400 yards passing. He's at 414. That is just the 2nd time in his career that he has thrown for more than 400 yards. The other time was, we mentioned earlier, his career high, 448 at Wake Forest last season. And some of those big throws there. Great catch by McCollum on that sideline play, remember?
Great awareness.
Yep.
Great awareness.
The play, really neat play design on the one to Hampton with he and Brooks both in the backfield and the swing pass to Hampton. That was a big play. And the Tar Heels get that big drive they needed to go back up by 18, matching their largest lead. Still 5 minutes to go, and each team has 3 timeouts to work with.
Yeah, Jones, we hadn't talked about the Nate McCullum catch too much, but what a great player, a player with great awareness, and instead he continued the run. He saw he was running out of real estate, understood where he was on the field, and dropped to a knee to save space. Great job.
And it's a fair catch on the kickoff. There's been a lot of talk of Tez Walker, understandably so and properly so. But Carolina felt like they were going to get a boost from McCollum as well.
Yes.
They said, look, both these guys could be huge additions to the offense. And unfortunately, we know the Walker situation, but getting McCollum back healthy, gracious, what a boost he has been today.
And they didn't lie, but the only thing was Walker was that deep threat that we've seen. If this offense is a really problem, it'd be De'Ami Brown and Daz Newsome type combo.
Yeah. So Minnesota's going to go 5 wide now, down 18 with 5 minutes to go. The throw tipped up and almost intercepted. Cedric Gray had dropped back in coverage, broke it up from the tight end span forward. Eccles was making a diving attempt at the pick. Again, Carolina has 2 interceptions today, and you feel like they've been a whisker away from 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, good job by Carolina defenders getting hands on the football all day. That's all you want. Tips and overthrows are where most interceptions come from, and Carolina's done a good job of getting tips today.
Again, 5 wide for Minnesota as they go right to left. Tar Heels will rush just 3. Rucker chasing down Calic, man,
gotta make that
able
play.
to get free. Now Fox is chasing him. The throw tipped again and almost intercepted. This time it was Hardy who flashed in front and broke the play up, and again it was hanging up in the air. So Rucker almost with the sack, Hardy almost with the pick, but all those almost count up to 3rd and 10.
Now let's get off the field. Great job by Carolina right now being disruptive, able to get pressure up front with the big guys. I know they're going to hate that they missed those sacks tomorrow while watching film, but the secondary getting connected. The back end and the front all ties in together.
3rd and 10. Minnesota's 3 of 11 on 3rd down. 4:47 to go. Heels up 18. Good job by the Minnesota O-line. Gives Calic Manitz lots of time. Now he's going to try and scramble, and he just has to slide down after a very short gain. Eccles and Rucker were chasing him down. And let's see. Minnesota going to punt. Yep. They're going to send out the punt unit, which is a bit of a waving of the white flag here by the Gophers with the Tar Heels up 31-13 and 4:22 to go.
Yeah, and they figure with 3 timeouts left, if you go for it here and you don't get it, you almost guarantee Carolina more points. So this is the right decision, even though they need a lot of points, 3 scores.
Punt is away. Huzzy calls for the fair catch. He'll make it at the 26-yard line. And so Carolina will have the football, 4:01 to go after the 50-yard punt. 31-13 the score. Tar Heels taking over on their own 26-yard line. So how about this Tar Heel defense? I mean, it had some wobbly moments, but, I mean, there have been a lot more good moments than wobbly moments today. Minnesota kicked a field goal on its first drive of this half. Since then, interception and 3 punts. The 3 punt drives, there were just 12 total plays. So, and there have been, as we've documented, a few more chances for turnovers as well. As Carolina smartly will keep it on the ground to try and milk that clock away. Drake May handing it off. Let's see if Minnesota takes a timeout or not. Don't think they will. As that is, it was Hampton on the carry. He gains 3. To the 29-yard line.
Yeah, Jones, when you're playing a team as good as Minnesota, a solid team, Power 5 team, you're going to have wobbly moments on both sides of the football because they can make plays. You know, it's not a situation where you're just coming out here and your roster is just that much better than theirs. They're going to make plays, and it's how you respond to those plays being made.
May snaps it with 8 on the play clock, hands off to Hampton. Hampton squirts through the line of scrimmage, gets out to the 34, maybe the 33. It will be 3rd down. Let's give him 4 yards on the run. And it will bring up 3rd and 3. Tar Heels 10 of 15 on 3rd down. It's been a big part of today. Carolina 10 of 15, Minnesota 3 of 12. Told you, Carolina came in 5th best in the country at 3rd down conversions at 62%. With the 3rd down coming up, they've been even better than that today, 10 of 15. Play clock under 10. It is 3rd and 3. Tar Heels keep it with Hampton,
Nice,
and he's got
running.
it. Boy, what a lower the shoulder pads, and ends up getting the 1st down. Good, strong run. That'll keep the chains and the clock moving. There's a gain of 5 on the play. Carolina now 11 of 16 on 3rd down. After the game, stay with us. We'll have the Coke postgame report. Talk to Mac Brown inside the Continental Tire Coaches Corner. Go through the stats, scores. Of course, still a lot of football to be played tonight across the country. May snaps it with 5 on the clock. We'll hand off. This time it's British Brooks, and he doesn't get a whole lot there, maybe just a yard. Jalen Logan Redding with the stop. The crowd had been chanting for Tez Walker, so they show him on the video board, and that gets a big pop from the crowd. Gain of 1 on that run by Brooks. Minute 22 and counting. Minnesota not using the timeouts. Golden Gophers have been 19-1 in non-conference games under P.J. Fleck. You may think, they must not play anybody. That does include 7-0 against the Power 5. British Brooks with the handoff, crosses the 45 to the 46.
What makes a team legendary?
And there's 1 minute to go before before the end of the game.
Yeah. And Jones, these last 2 games, there's just an illustration of how difficult it is to defend this Carolina offense.
Yeah.
You can say, okay, you're not going to beat us with the explosive passing game. And what do? Go out and run for 300 yards or whatever it was last week. Then this week they face a stout team up front that doesn't allow them to run the football at all. And what do? Drake May and crew just goes crazy in the passing game. So you can be very good in one end, but you better be really good on both the run defense and the pass defense if you want to stymie this offense.
Final snap of the game. British Brooks plows into the middle of the line, and that will do it. So Carolina improves to 3-0 for the 2nd consecutive year. The 3rd time in the last 4 years, 5th time in the last 7 years as well. Last 7 Mac Brown years. That goes back to his first tenure in Chapel Hill. And Carolina does it in impressive fashion today. Never trailed and defeats Big Ten representative Minnesota by the final score of 31-13. Drake May, for the 2nd time in his career, throws for more than 400 yards. He has 414 yards passing and 2 scores. Nate McCollum finishes with 15 catches, tied for 4th most in a single game at Carolina, with 3 different Tar Heels have 16 in a game in the past. McCollum finishes with 15, 165 yards, and a touchdown. Interceptions by Eccles and Chapman help the cause as well. So, again, Carolina moves to 3-0 on the season. An impressive win over Minnesota today. From start to finish, Carolina controls this one. 31-13, the final score. We'll take a break, come back. A lot to do here from Kenan Stadium. Tar Heels win it by 18 over the Golden Gophers from Leafy.